All right, now hello YouTubes. Okay. The fuck? So this is like shit, how many different cameras have I used? So when I first started, I was using the built-in camera on my laptop. Then I was using an old webcam that I had. Then I bought that one webcam that was a piece of shit and made everything look orange. And then I bought this camera. And then yesterday I just got a new tripod for this camera, so now it's a little bit like I like the angle a little better. It's a little more straight on because before on the other tripod it was more top down. I didn't really like that angle very much, but that tripod was so tall I couldn't bring it down any further. Whereas this one, it's actually as high as it can possibly go. So if I wanted to, I could bring it down some more. But I think this is actually a good spot because it's kind of like eye level with me. What up, Poopman Jones? Hey. All right, let me. I got the guest queue open. And I'm ready for the debates, for some good conversations. Hopefully, we can actually stay on topic and have some actual, debates about the substance. That's definitely the goal. Yeah, thanks for the shares and the likes. Definitely appreciate, tapping the screen, sharing it out to your friends, all that kind of stuff. Definitely helps. Hopefully, we can get some folks in here who are ready to actually have the conversation, have some debates. Yeah, we will see how it goes. Um, I felt like last night went pretty well. I feel like we had some good conversations. Um, I had that one super long conversation, hour-long conversation about that weird dependence argument. um, but yeah, I think that hopefully well, my goal here is for tonight to go similarly to last night. Debate at. Just realized I want to set up some stuff on the YouTube, get that ready to go. And Nate King Cole, that's like asking why police work so hard to catch murderers when they're not murderers themselves. Like, what do you expect? Like, obviously, the reason that detectives try to catch murderers is because it's bad for society to have murderers in society. Similarly, it's bad for society to have religious people in society. But yeah, just looking for some folks who are 18 plus and have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. And we'll try to see if we can have some good conversations this evening. Oh, I guess Barbara didn't really want to talk. I disagree, Betty. And if you want to have the debate, feel free to come over here. Hey, KTM, good to see you, as always. I'm not Santa. Santa's not bald, and he has a white beard. Hi, Worm. How old are you?
I'm gonna get in your face, fuck, don't you?
Okay, that sounds fun. If you're in the guest queue, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Hi, Milton. How old are you?
35.
Do you believe in a God?
Yeah.
Okay, which God do you believe in?
The one that created the solar eclipse.
Okay, that's ambiguous. I just need you to tell me exactly what God you believe in so that I know what you believe in. There's no confusion.
All right, listen up, fat boy.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you don't want to actually have the conversation, you can leave. That's fine. But yeah, we'll see if anybody actually wants to engage in the conversation, engage in the substance. That's certainly the goal here. Thanks for the support, KTM, Poopman Jones, Lupine. Thank you guys so much. I sincerely appreciate it. I'm doing okay. Solid day today. Hey, Jaden. What country do I support in the World Cup? I don't support a country in the World Cup. All right, so if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you are 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Please just understand I'm not going to bring up people like the same people that I talked to within the last couple of days. I'm not just going to have the same conversations, same debates over and over and over again. But yeah, looking to talk to adults who actually have some kind of argument or evidence for God. All right, cool. How old are you?
Hello. Hello.
Hello, how old are you? Is it just me or does this sound like a child?
Do you know Baby Sticky?
Okay, fair enough. Okay. Yeah, well, we'll find out whether or not, there's actually somebody out there who wants to have the conversation. Hi, Pakistan, how old are you?
44.
Okay, do you believe in a God?
Yes.
All right, which God do you believe in?
I believe in the one and only God.
Okay, I just need you to tell me which one.
In Allah.
Okay, and what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in God?
Okay, so I have a friend who's an atheist, and he's an atheist all his life. And I was driving my car recently, and bear in mind.
So Pakistan, I don't want to hear a personal story. I don't care.
No, I'm explaining.
I don't. Yep, and I'm telling you that I don't care. It doesn't matter what personal story you tell me. There are people in other religions who have similar stories that confirm their beliefs. So what you would need to tell me isn't the story. What you would need to tell me is the tool that you used to determine that your interpretation of your experience is correct and their interpretations of their experiences are incorrect.
You explain to me now, right? When I nearly crashed the car, he said...
No, this is irrelevant, Pakistan.
He said
Did you hear what I said? Did you hear what I said?
He
I don't care what he said. If you aren't going to listen to me, if you aren't going to engage in the actual substance, I'm just going to move on.
And this person is
okay. So obviously not interested in actually having a substantive conversation. That's unfortunate. Yeah, not looking for. Don't really care about your personal experiences. Those aren't relevant. So if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you are 18 plus, and then you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God.
What is up, little guy? I have...
Okay.
Hello?
All right, fair enough. Eventually we'll get to a real person who actually wants to talk. Hi, Wolf. How old are you?
I'm 26.
Okay. Do you believe in a God?
I do.
Great. Which God do you believe in?
I believe in Jesus Christ.
Fantastic. And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God?
Well, from a rational point of view, I mean, if you look at all based religions, the proving of the common denominator of Jesus Christ, he is the only one to actually come back.
I mean, there's a claim that Jesus came back, but there's also claims in lots of other religions about people resurrecting from the dead. So, no, this isn't unique to Christianity. And even if it was unique to Christianity, there just being some unique claim in Christianity has nothing to do with its truth. So what would be the reason to think that God actually exists?
If you'll debunk that, that's fair. Debunking that in itself, I guess in your opinion. there's a few other points. I mean, the creation of Earth itself. If you look at our DNA, the coding of it, there was a study found about 5 years ago. The genetic coding of Yahweh, which is
I need you to like cut to the chase. Give me some actual evidence, something that we can actually engage in, not this like, well, I read a story one time that some
it's
other
not a
Christian
story.
told me.
It's
Okay, so
no,
give me
it's
the
not
actual,
a
if you have
Christian.
actual evidence, then provide the actual source.
Let me grab my other phone so I can find the link so you can look it up yourself.
If I told you there was a study that concluded there is no God, would you believe that there is no God?
Yeah, if you can.
So just
show
me
one,
just
possibly.
telling you that a study exists that concluded there is no God would be enough to convince you there's no God?
If you can factually prove it, yeah.
No, I'm saying, would me just saying that such a study exists be enough for you?
No.
Yeah, of course not, because that would be insane. But that's what you're asking me to believe. You're just saying, if I say the words, a study proved, and then I say something I believe in, then everybody has to believe me. Well, no, that's ridiculous. That wouldn't work for you, so there's no reason you should think it would work for me. So is there any actual argument or evidence?
Facts.
Is there any actual argument or evidence that would provide a reason to believe in a God?
In the way you're going with it, you could say no. So when
Okay,
it comes to believing in
I
a
agree.
God,
I also think that there's no reason to believe in a God. So what I recommend is that you join me in rationality and stop believing in a God that you don't have a reason to believe in. So maybe somebody actually will have a reason to believe in a God, but who knows? We'll find out. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you are 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Hello, Hodge. How old are you?
I'm 18.
Do you believe in a God?
Yep.
Okay. And which God do you believe in?
Just believe in the classical theistic God.
Okay, but not one associated with a religion?
No.
Okay, and what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God without referring to anything that has to do with a religion?
I think fine-tuning is good evidence with using.
I mean, that's obviously not true. Do you want to present an argument?
Yeah, sure. So, there's an uncountable parameter space and a subset of that parameter space.
Okay, so you need to just talk like you were talking like normal fucking people. I don't need jargon.
Oh.
I don't need any of that. It's shit that you think makes you sound smart.
Okay. Basically, there's a large amount of possible worlds. Is that okay? Could I use the phrase possible worlds?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, large amount of possible worlds. And basically, there's like a small part of that in which the possible worlds allow for life. Is it good so far?
So there's a large amount of possible worlds, but only a small percentage are hospitable for life, beneficial for life?
Yeah, hospitable for life. They allow for life then.
Okay.
Just
so there's a
about
large amount of
possibility.
possible worlds, but only a small percentage are hospitable to life. Okay.
Yeah, and then that's just to imply that, can I use the term unconditionally or should I use a different term?
No, I mean, that's a normal word. I just don't need you like throwing around jargon.
Okay, well, yeah, that just implies the unconditional probability of words like that is low, but then when you look at
what is unconditional doing in that phrase?
Oh yeah, that's just to imply the probability of these words before you can encounter the evidence.
Oh, okay.
Well, sorry, not the evidence. Yeah, well, the hypothesis in this case, sorry. But unconditional just typically means, not saying the probability of this thing given some other thing.
Okay, so you're just like appealing to some kind of principle of indifference?
No, that's not what I'm doing. The principle of indifference can use conditional probabilities, but typically doesn't. Just says that the priors equiprobable mean the same / uniform, but that's not the same thing.
So what is the actual point here? The unconditional probability of non-life sustaining possible worlds, what?
Is very low. So then what you have to see is the probability of a world like that arising given the hypotheses. And it seems like...
Hold on. Unconditional probability of... Are you actually trying to say the unconditional probability of life-sustaining possible worlds is low?
Yeah.
Okay. 'Cause
Yeah.
You said yes when I said non-life sustaining, but you meant.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Sorry.
So the unconditional probability of possible worlds hospitable. I need to be able to spell hospitable to life is small. Okay.
Yeah, and then when you look at the probability of a world like that arising, if theism is true, the probability increases significantly. Whereas,
The
you know,
probability of such a world obtaining under theism is high.
yeah, it's high, well, higher than the competitors, right? The
What do you
competing
mean higher than the
hypothesis.
competitors? What do you mean?
Well, mate, can I say likelihood ratio? Or is that too
Higher
much?
higher than under any
Well, yeah,
other
I'm just saying, like,
hypothesis?
yeah, well, I'm saying the probability of, you know, worlds of life on theism is higher than the probability of worlds in life if the competing hypotheses were true. That's
Okay.
what I'm saying.
Sure. So how did you determine what the how theism would update that probability?
Yeah, so what we can do is just show why we think it's expected on theism. Which
Okay,
is
I'm
the grander
asking you.
explanation of
I'm
the story.
asking you how you made that determination. I don't need you to tell
Oh,
me
sorry.
we would make that determination. I'm asking how would you make the determination?
Oh, as in giving you the explanation?
Yeah, I'm asking you to tell me, to explain to me how you would
Yeah.
determine how what impact the
Yeah.
theistic hypothesis would have on the probability of life-sustaining possible worlds.
Okay, sorry, I'll do that now. So, I think that, you know, on theism, it's implicit that God would have, you know, these axiological reasons, as in value-based reasons, to want to produce life. One reason is because
No, my
of
question
God's
was what how do you update the not the probability of there being life, but of there being physical constants that are hospitable to life?
you have the probability of that, you just get the probability of that being true if theism is true.
No,
So the amount of
oh my
evidence
God,
to-
Hodge, you understand? I'm asking you how you determine the probability of that if theism is true, and the answering you just determine the probability of that if
the
theism is
prior
true
probability
is
of
not
that
informative.
hypothesis? Sorry, do you mean like the probability of theism alone, like the prior probability?
No,
Then that's not the probability of theism then.
I'm not
Why are
asking
you
about the
starting
probability of
so
theism. I
confused?
didn't ask anything about the probability of theism. I didn't
Well,
say
just
anything
because
like
I'm
that.
being nice doesn't mean I know you're not confused. You're so obviously confused. But
I'm not
okay,
confused.
so
You
are
aren't
you
tracking the
asking?
question that I asked you. Can you steel man the question that I asked you?
Yeah, you asked me how do you determine the update on the evidence?
No. Specifically,
Okay,
what did I
can you
ask you about? If I'm the one that's not tracking, then you would be able to tell
Well,
everybody
that's what I said.
what
I said
my
you were
specific
confused.
question was.
I said you were confused.
No, you said that. You said I'm confused. I'm not tracking. If I'm the one
You're
who's
confused on
confused and you're not
probability.
confused, then you can tell everybody the question that I asked you because you're obviously
that's
the one
not-
tracking the
well,
conversation.
That wouldn't follow from it being true. You're confused. But what I was saying you're confused about is
So
the
what was my question?
Yeah, the question, it seemed like to me, was how do you update the probability
The probability of what? What did I ask you the update on?
of God existing?
No.
Okay, then
See, this
what
is why
was the
you thought I was
probability of-
confused. It's because you're not tracking, and then you tried to
Okay.
project that onto me. So it seems like
Okay,
I'm
sorry about
confused
that.
when you're not tracking the conversation. So what I'm
Sorry.
asking you is, how did you determine how likely life-supporting physical constants are under theism? And then your response initially was to talk about the probability of life under theism, but that's not what I'm asking you. I'm not
No,
asking
but-
you what's the stop. I'm not asking you what's the probability of life under theism. I'm asking you how you determine the probability of life-granting or life-sustaining physical constants under theism.
Okay, so the probability of the phenomenon if theism were true. Okay. Well, yeah, I was trying to answer that initially by giving the explanation. That's one way you motivate that, but
No,
if that
because
doesn't
life
suffice-
with a god, especially the kind of god who has the power to create a universe, the probability of life under that kind of god has nothing to do with the probability of life-sustaining constants. So I'm asking, how do you
Okay,
determine the
okay.
probability of life-sustaining constants?
Yeah, by giving an explanation for life saying constant on theism, that's typically you motivate the probability being higher.
So what you're telling me is that the way you would determine the probability of life-sustaining constants under theism is by determining the probability of life-sustaining constants under theism? How informative.
Well, the method is what does that.
So what
If
is
you
the
think I just
method?
said
What is the
that means
method?
you can
What is the
go on.
method? What is the method that you can use or that anyone can use to determine the probability of life-sustaining constants under theism?
Yeah, given the explanation as to why there would be life on theism or life can
No,
life
I'm not asking about the probability of
theism.
life, Hodge.
Wait,
You're not
I said
tracking again.
explanation, dude.
What
I
am
said
I actually
explanation.
what am I asking you for?
Can you repeat what I said, please?
Yeah,
Just
you're talking
like
about
completely-
the probability of life, but I'm not asking you
Wait,
about the probability of life.
Wait, can I just say it one more time? All I said was that what you typically do is just render the explanation for why these constants would exist if theism were true. So I didn't mention probability, I mentioned explanation.
So tell me what is the method? I'm only asking this one more time.
What
I'm
is
not
the
going to keep
method?
going around in
Wait,
circles with
what's the
you.
method?
What I
Give
need
an
you to do,
explanation.
what I need you to do is provide the
Wait,
methodology that would result in a determination
I'm
for the
answering.
probability
This is
of
so-
life-sustaining constants under
This is
theism.
an attempt to dodge. This is an attempt to dodge. I've given you the answer
I'm
7
asking
times.
you the same question over and over, and you haven't even attempted to
I've
answer it
literally
yet.
answered. Tell me how the answer doesn't suffice.
Because all
You
you're
keep
talking
answering
about,
doesn't
all
suffice.
you're talking about is life. I'm not asking you about life.
Are you good in the head? I just said that the method is giving an explanation for what a thing would obtain on the hypothesis. So this is schematic. It applies for anything.
No, just provide me the methodology.
That is methodology.
You haven't told me
Giving
the steps that
explanation
you would
for why-
take. Tell me the
Okay,
steps that you would take to determine the likelihood of life-sustaining physical constants under theism. What are the steps that you would take that any person could do that would allow them to independently come to the conclusion that life-sustaining constants are likely under theism?
I'm telling you right now. But what you do is you first get an explanation from the hypothesis for why the thing would obtain, and then see comparatively why we should think from that the likelihood would be higher, right? Insofar as the competitors. That's all you do. It's not hard to understand. That's all you do. I've said this many times. You didn't listen on purpose.
Yeah,
So
because this
obviously
isn't
you did.
answering my question.
Wait, so explain how it doesn't answer the question. And repeat what I just said. Explain why it doesn't answer the question.
Yeah, what
Go
you
ahead,
said
please.
is what you do is get an explanation from the hypothesis for why it would obtain, then compare that explanation to the likelihood under competing hypotheses.
But wait, no, that's not what I said. The second part's confused. First is what I said. The second part's not what I said. The second part, what I said to that was, then you compare the explanations from the other competitors for the evidence or the phenomenon and see which ones better explain the data, right? For many reasons. There's many reasons to why it makes best explain the data. That's what you do.
Then compare the explanations for competing hypotheses. What?
Yeah, you compare the explanations for the data or from different competing hypotheses and then select the one that has the best explanation.
Okay, so this doesn't tell me anything. What
This
I'm
is the
asking
method.
you, hold on. What I'm asking you is how I would determine the likelihood of life-sustaining probability or life-sustaining constants under theism. I'm not asking about comparing it to competing hypotheses. This is your problem. We're not talking about other hypotheses right now. All
Wait,
I'm
so you're
asking you for,
explaining
Hodge,
how
excuse
okay
me,
probability
Hodge,
is?
excuse me.
Is that your
I
fucking
know this is why
response?
you can't track because you keep talking every time I'm trying to talk. So you're not understanding the question that I'm asking. I'm only going to ask it one more time. If you aren't able to understand what I'm asking you, that's on you. So one last
your
time,
response to
what
how
is
you
the
make
methodology
logical
that you
growth?
can use to
Is that your
determine
response?
the likelihood of
Is your
life-sustaining
response the
life-sustaining
fucking
physical
how
constants
conditionals
under
and evidence?
theism?
Is that your fucking response? Are you stupid? This is your response? Hey, conditionals
Okay,
and
well,
evidence?
since you don't
That's
want to
your response?
answer,
That's your
I'm just going to
response,
move
bro.
on. Thank you
That's
for
your
the
response?
concession, Hodge. I appreciate the concession. I don't know how many times I have to ask the same fucking question over and over again. So what Hodge was clearly not able to grasp is that when we're talking about how likely something is, like the probability of E given H, the probability of a specific piece of evidence given a specific hypothesis, you would be able to explain that before you start looking at how other hypotheses explain that same data, right? But obviously he wasn't interested in actually engaging in the substance, but maybe the next person will be. So if you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Fine-tuning, completely incapable of tracking. Okay, so we'll bring up the next person. Skipping Doran because of the begging. Hi, GMO. How old are you?
I'm over 18.
And what God do you believe in?
I did believe in the Christian God at one point.
That
but I
wasn't my
haven't
question.
reached-
Can you just answer the
That's
question
what
that I
I
asked you,
believe in.
please?
Regular God.
Okay, so you just believe in like a theistic God without any name or books associated with it?
Now I do.
Well, I'm asking you what you currently believe, GMO.
I don't really believe. Well, I believe in a higher power. Let's put it that way.
Okay, do you believe in like a mind that created the universe?
Ooh, that's hard to believe.
Okay, well,
That's hard to understand.
sounds like you're at least agnostic, maybe an atheist. I would recommend, looking into it, figuring out what you actually believe, but I am just looking to debate with people who actually believe in a God. You seem like a nice person, so I don't know, maybe I'll give you an opportunity. Is there some argument that you wanted to discuss?
Well, yeah, it is. It's because I was going to ask you if you had an inner monologue.
Yes.
You do have an inner monologue, okay.
Yeah, I have
Now,
a
does that
sister.
inner
I have a
monologue-
sister who doesn't, and that fucking blows my mind.
Now, the reason why I'm asking that is because that helps govern the higher and lower self.
Okay, well,
If
did you have
are
an
the
argument for
median,
God that you wanted to discuss?
That's kind of where I'm going to.
Okay, well, what our biology, our psychology, that has nothing to do with whether or not a God exists. And certainly if it does, you could just give the argument that connects our biology or psychology to God, and we don't have to talk
Well,
about the details about
The
the
reason why
biology
I'm saying
or
that is
psychology.
because we all take religion as spirituality, and it's not spirituality, it's the gateway to spirituality.
Okay, so
that's
you
the
just
first
think that
fuck
you
up.
know
A lot of
better.
people-
You just think you know better than everybody,
No,
and I don't really
no,
care about that,
no,
GMO.
I'm not. It's not.
All
it's
I'm
not
asking
that.
you
It's
is
not
if
that I
there's
don't-
an argument or
I'm
a
not-
piece of
I'm-
evidence for God.
I'm-
So
This is just as specific as you are. I'm trying to be that way, and I'm trying to get to a point.
okay, well, I don't want you to like work on getting to the point. I want the point right now, or I'm moving on.
You can leave.
Okay, have a good one, man. Seems like a nice person, but obviously not actually, ready for the conversation. Psychology? All right, so yeah, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining the guest queue, make sure that you're 18 plus, and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Oh, is that what he was trying to say, Lupine? Was he trying to say that their inner monologue is God? That would be fucked up. Okay. Hi, turn the camera off, please.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. How old are you?
I'm 35.
Cool. I don't mean to be rude. I just have had, negative experiences with people putting their cameras on. You seem like you're probably a good person, so I just don't want any risks. What God do you believe in?
I believe in Christian God, Jesus Christ.
Okay, cool. And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in God?
So I know you really want to stay away from any sort of a personal experience, but I guess I want to tell you that I didn't believe in God until 6 months ago myself, and I want to start off by telling you that for 35 years I did not believe.
Well, that's fine. I don't. Hold on,
existed.
Doran. You were right when you said I don't want personal experience. The only way that I'm interested in talking about personal experience is if we're discussing some kind of tool that would allow us to determine who is interpreting their personal experience correctly and who isn't.
Yes, sir. Right. Perfect. And that's why I led off with that disclaimer, because I already thought that you were going to initially think that. And I'm going to just start off by telling you that in order to find out whether or not God is real, you have to seek him, because God is perfect.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Perfect,
Doran, what I need is
and
just
gives
some
us
kind of
free
argument
will.
or evidence.
Do you understand what? Right. I'm trying.
Yep,
I'm trying.
I just need some kind of argument or evidence, though.
You're
I don't
trying
want
to
this like
determine-
preaching.
right.
I don't want preaching.
You're trying to determine the evidence. And
No,
so what
I
I'm
just
trying
don't
to
want
do is I'm trying to
preaching.
give you
I
a
just don't
tool.
want any preaching.
You're trying. I'm not preaching to you. That
Okay,
if
you're
you're
telling
gonna-
me
if
that
you
in
wanna
order
have
to
a
find God, you have to
conversation-
seek God, and that's like making assumptions about who has and hasn't sought God. You don't know me. You don't know how much time or energy I've put into seeking God.
Right.
So what I'm
right.
asking
Well,
you to
you're
do,
seeking him
Doran.
now. I know
Okay,
that. I already
Doran.
know that. You're seeking him now.
Doran,
So
Doran, hello.
I'm just telling
Doran,
you what the
hello.
Bible says.
Excuse
The
me.
Bible is
Can you
a
hear me?
place to find out
Okay,
about
if you're not
God's
going to be able to have a
existence.
conversation
And
and
if you
actually
go
listen
to
to
the
me when I'm talking,
Bible
then there's no
and
way that we
follow-
can actually have a debate. So I'm going to give you one last opportunity. Do you have any argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in God?
One would think you would prefer to have this regular conversation instead of the one that you just had, because this one that you're going to have with me is going to be a whole lot more convincing than you
Yeah,
could
I
ever
don't
have
care
with
about
most people.
but Doran, I don't give a fuck about any of the stuff you're
Especially
talking
since
about.
I just didn't believe in him.
Okay.
So I'm
well,
telling
so
you,
obviously you're not willing to actually listen or engage to any significant degree, so we'll just go ahead and move on. Well, there was no debate there, yard dog. Yeah. Yeah, I don't need more ghost stories. You're 100% right, both sides. So again, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God.
Hello?
Yeah, you just did the exact same fucking thing again, Gyno.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I don't speak in front of people ever. Whenever I talk to someone about something, it's usually not in front of an audience.
Okay, that's fine. How old are you?
I'm 19.
Okay, do you believe in a God?
Can I ask you something first? And this isn't a personal story. This isn't a personal story. It's
No,
not a
if you
personal
have to
story.
ask me a question in order to answer the question of what God you believe in, then you're
No,
not
I'm
worth talking to.
You didn't ask what God I believe in. You asked if I believe in
Right.
a God. But
Yeah, so do you believe in a God? If you have to ask me a question before you answer that, then I'm not going to talk to you.
But I want to. Can I let you know what I want to know?
Okay, fair enough. All right. We're not playing games. We're not doing 20 questions. We're just trying to have the debate. If you don't want to do that, then you shouldn't be requesting. So if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining the guest queue, make sure that you are 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Please do not tell me about your personal experiences, and we're not going to do preaching. We're also not doing 20 questions. Hi, Singer. How old are you?
Hi, I'm 25.
Okay. Do you believe in a God?
Well, your initial question you posit is there a rational justification on the belief
So do you
of
believe in a God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, which
I'm
God do you
reframing
believe in?
your initial, Christian God.
Okay.
I'm trying to get to where it's not like a steamrolling, like you're very dominating in a conversation. I feel like I want to have like a very civil conversation on it.
Well, the only way that we're going to be able to do that is if you stick to the substance. I will interrupt and I will talk over you and I will kick you if you don't stick to substance. But if you stick on the substance and we're actually having a productive conversation that stays linear, then I won't interrupt or do anything. I won't be rude at all. So,
yes, sir.
As I ask everybody, what is the best argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God?
Dreams.
Okay, well, obviously, that is, bullshit. Dreams don't give us reason to believe anything.
So there we go, right?
Yeah,
Can
so
we-
dreams
can
don't
we-
give us reason to believe anything. We all know that dreams don't
Okay,
give us reason to
5
believe
reasons
anything.
why.
So since
How's
we're not
this
going to be
gonna
talking
come
about, because dreams are just another type of personal experience. I already said before you came up.
Where do they come from?
Excuse
Personal
me.
experiences that
Excuse
stem
me,
from
Singer.
what?
Excuse
From
me.
the
Hello.
brain.
I just told you if you don't want to get interrupted and treated poorly, that you need to act like an adult and not interrupt me and stick to the substance. And what I said before you came in here is that we're not doing personal experiences. Dreams are personal experiences. So knowing that we're not going to talk about that, do you have any argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in a God?
It's more than just personal experiences. It's the things that occur inside.
Okay,
a
I'll
dream
ask
that
you
might
one
be-
more time. Do you have any argument or evidence?
This is like very.
All right, fair enough. If you don't actually want to discuss the substance, if you don't actually want to just, provide any argument or evidence, then don't request. It's pretty simple. But if you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you are 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God, and make sure that it doesn't have anything to do with personal experience. Thanks. DS, we're doing a little bit of Scream today. I throw. How old are you?
I am 19 years old.
Do you believe in a God?
I do believe that there is some type of cosmic justice in the universe, but I don't necessarily believe that, like, there's this God who's
Okay.
almighty.
Well, I'm just
and
looking to
is-
talk to people who do believe in a God, okay?
Okay, I mean, I do.
All right. So once again, make sure if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining the guest queue that you do believe in a God, that you are 18 plus, and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Oh, what's up, Tannic? Jesus. Hi, William. How old are you?
33.
Okay. Do you believe in a God?
I do.
Fantastic. Which God do you believe in?
That's a problem. See, I could explain it as the Christian God, but I could also explain it as every other God in existence or comprehension. You know, it's the universe.
Okay, well, I believe in the universe, so is there something that we disagree on?
We haven't found a disagreement. So far, we're agreeing.
Well, I believe in the universe, but I don't believe in a God.
Well, that's where we got to find a disagreement on.
Okay, so
Where's the science behind it?
Oh my fucking God, dude. Is the God you believe in just the universe and you just call it God?
I guess it's more
Okay.
of a.
Well, I believe in the universe, but I don't believe in a God, and so it sounds like you just want to have a semantic debate about whether we should call the universe God, and that's not interesting to me or anybody else. Is that what you want to
No.
discuss, or do you actually have a God belief that you want to
That is not
discuss?
at all. Whatever you're assuming, I don't know where you got that from.
Okay, because what?
Kinda
Okay,
like
do you
every
believe in a
person's theory.
mind that created and sustains the universe?
I believe the universe is that mind.
Okay, well, we're not talking about that. Unbelievable. Okay, folks. A God would be like a personal ultimate foundation to reality. That's pretty simple. So if you're in the guest queue and you don't believe in that, then you should leave. Okay? Fantastic. Hi, Soul. How old are you?
27.
Okay. Do you believe in a God?
Yep.
Which God do you believe in?
Jesus.
And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God?
Well, since we basically call them the kings of kings, it gives humanity something to idolize.
No,
And
no,
through
I'm
it-
not asking.
and
I'm
through
not
it
asking what you think.
manifests-
Excuse me. I'm not asking you what you think benefits of believing in God are. I'm asking why a rational person
Right,
would think
I
it's
think it
true that a God
manifests-
exists.
Yeah, it manifests that way. We
No,
give you the
I'm
icon
asking
to
you.
think of.
So I'm asking you, what would be a reason that a rational person would believe that a God exists, that it's true that a God exists? Not that it's useful to believe in a God, not that it's nice to believe in a God. Why would we think that it's true that a God exists?
We could look at the fact that basically every culture picks up on a deity at some point.
I
The
don't care.
concept
Now
comes
what
into
all
their
you're
head.
doing, this is
I
just
would
argument
argue
ad
it's,
populum.
basic evolution. It's basic
I don't really
evolution.
care if you would argue it's basic evolution. I'm asking if there's actually some argument that would conclude, therefore, God exists without being fallacious or otherwise invalid, or if you have some kind of evidence that would give us reason to believe in God. I don't need this, like, whatever. I don't even know the fucking word. It's just bullshit so far.
You say that, however, I would argue I see more structure within religions.
I don't
versus
really
what
care
I see from
what you see,
secularists.
how much structure you see in religion. Did I ask you anything about how much structure is in religion? Because I don't think I did.
Yeah, so I would say.
So
it's
did
not
I ask
something
you a
so-
question about the
it's not
structure in
so-
religion?
It's not so.
Did I
it's
ask
not
you a
so
question
well-
about the structure in religion?
So do you?
Did
need
I
me to
ask you a
say,
question
is there
about the
Santa Claus
structure in
the
religion?
sky? Do you need me
Did
to
I-
say is there a Santa
okay.
Claus in the sky then?
So
I'm
are you
curious, is that what
capable?
need? A
Are
Santa-
you
do need a
capable
Santa
of
Claus
having
in
a
the sky?
conversation? Are you capable of having an adult conversation?
Yeah, we'll find out. Are you
Well, it
trying
seems
to
like we're
basically
not.
go
So
with-
what I'm asking you
Let's try
for
to
is some
break it
reason
down.
to believe
Let's
in
try to
God.
make it
Do you have
simple
that?
then. Are we
I
talking
cannot
about
make it any more
basically a
simple. So
being?
if you aren't able to answer whether
Yeah,
there's
so
a reason
make
to
it
believe in
simple
God,
for
then
me.
I'm
Are
just
you
going to move
saying-
on.
You're-
So I'll ask
basically
you
I'm
one
gonna
last
give you
time.
the whole-
One last time.
Is it the
What would be the best argument or evidence that would give us reason to believe in God?
the structure he provides? Simple as that.
Okay, that assumes that God exists. So God can't provide structure if God doesn't exist. So why should we think that God exists to provide that
And
structure?
yet the people who follow him
I don't care.
show more of a foundation.
I don't care. That could very well
course
just
not.
be very well just be a result
So
of having the
why would I
belief in the community
care?
that comes from it. It doesn't
So
mean
help
that the
me
God actually
understand.
exists. So why should we think
So
that
help
God
me
actually
understand
exists?
That how is it that the people who believe in the make-believe man seem to get more of a foundation for their society?
Okay, so you
both
don't
from a
have any
crit-
argument or
both
evidence.
from
You
a
just want to appeal
secularist-
to this pragmatic stuff?
So yeah,
All
utilitarian.
right, fair enough.
Sure.
Fair enough. Well, thank you for admitting that you don't have any argument or evidence, and that you are an irrational person who believes things without reason. So if you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you are 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Hi, Burgle. How old are you?
Hey there, I'm 40.
Okay, I'm 40 as well. Well, do you believe in a God?
I do.
Okay, and which God do you believe in?
The God of the Bible, the Christian God.
Okay, fantastic.
To be clear, I'm Latter-day Saint, so that might help you in your question.
Oh, so you don't believe in the God of the Bible, you believe in the God of the Book of Mormon.
We believe in the Book of Mormon as well. We believe that's another book of scripture, but we
Right,
believe
but
it
the
is
God
of the Bible.
The God of the Book of Mormon is not the God of the Bible, right? Like that's just, it's the same as the God of Islam, even though it claims to be the Abrahamic God, is not the God of Judaism or Christianity, similar to the way that the Christian God, which claims to come from Judaism, is not the same as the God from Judaism. So the God from Mormonism is not the God from Christianity. It's silly to pretend that it is. Anyway, what would be the best argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in a God?
The Book of Mormon.
And that, as far as I can tell, that's the claim. What's the evidence that God exists?
No, the very existence of the Book of Mormon. It's a textual record. It purports to be a historical
Yeah,
record.
it
so the
purports to
record
be,
itself-
absolutely. And every other religion, or almost every other religion, has a book that purports to be historical as well. But you don't believe in all of those. So what is the distinction? What does Mormonism have that the other religions don't? Because it's not a book.
Excuse me, it's not a book?
Right, because other religions
We have a book.
Other religions have books. Just having a book doesn't mean your religion is true. What is the justification for thinking that Mormonism is true?
It's the very existence of the manner it was produced. So give me another religion that's even comparable to the Book of Mormon.
I don't care about the
and how it was
manner in
produced.
which it was produced. I care about the validity of the claims. I care about whether there's reason to think that the claims are true. Does that reason exist?
Yes, I'm explaining to you, but you're rejecting it.
No,
because
you're
for
not
some
explaining
reason
it.
you
You're
won't
just
engage.
saying that the claim is sufficient evidence for the claim. I reject that. So what I'm asking you
No.
for isn't to just point to the claims. I'm asking for the evidence that supports the claims.
So the Book of Mormon itself contains the evidence. That's my
No,
point.
that's the
You wanna
claim.
engage that?
The book is the claim. What's the evidence external to the book that we should believe what the book says?
Sure, the book is debunked.
No, what is the evidence external to the book that gives us reason to believe what the book says?
If you let someone talk, you'd be let.
Yep,
them
I'm not
present
going to
the
let you
evidence.
talk when you're going off topic. So do you understand the question that I'm
not
asking
going
you?
off topic.
Okay,
I'm
fantastic.
answering,
So then
literally
you can
answering.
you can tell
Do
me
you know-
back to me what the
are
question I'm
scared
asking
to
you is.
engage with this? I'm trying to engage with you. So the
No,
Book
you're
of
not.
Mormon-
If you were trying to engage,
Listen,
then you could tell me the question that I'm asking
the
you.
Book of Mormon has
So what's the
debunked
question that I'm asking you?
Anachronisms.
So I'm going to ask you one more time,
records that have
Burgle.
been
If you're not
historical.
actually able to even track the questions that you're being asked, then obviously you're not prepared for a conversation like this. So what's the question that I'm asking you?
I don't have an exact record, but what you're asking is evidence outside the Book of Mormon, which I'm trying to give you, but you're refusing to let me speak.
Okay, so as soon as you start talking about the Book of Mormon, then I'm going to cut you off again. So what's the evidence external to the Book of Mormon?
The debunked anachronisms. So the claim, if you're saying the claim is the Book of Mormon, the point is that the archaeological record supports the Book of Mormon. For instance,
Well, that's
there's-
bullshit. Again, and I told you if you brought up the Book of Mormon, I would cut you off again. We're not talking about the Book of Mormon right now. We're talking about the evidence. Hold on, Burgle. Hold on. Stop. Calm down. Hold on. What we're talking about right now is not the Book of Mormon. We're talking about what is the reason to believe that God exists. So what is the evidence external to the Book of Mormon that provides justification to believe in God?
What did I just say so I know you're listening to me?
No, I wasn't listening to you. As soon as you went off topic, like I told you, I was going
So
to stop
how
you.
do you know I'm off topic if you don't even know what I said? What did
Because
I say?
you're talking about anachronisms and you're talking about the Book of Mormon. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm asking you for a reason to believe in God. So this is the last time. This is the last time I'm asking. Do you have
So
any
you're
evidence for God? Yes
So
or
you're
no?
pretending to want evidence, but you refuse to listen to evidence. You're on a a TikTok live. You're pretending.
So
to
this
ask
will
for
be
evidence
the
for your
last time that I
objections
ask
to
you. If you answer with
I
anything
get it.
other
I
than
get it.
evidence
You
for
don't
God,
want to
then it's a
actually
concession.
engage.
So what
You're
would you say
pre-wired
is some evidence
you're
or argument for
pre-wired
God?
to respond to 3 evidences.
Okay.
You don't.
Yeah. So you won't give any evidence. All you want to talk about is the book that I don't believe in. Obviously, shit in the book that I don't believe in isn't going to be compelling. It's not that complicated. So if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining the guest queue, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Are you able to answer the question this time, or do I need to kick you again?
Are you being rude already when you haven't given me a chance, big fella? Because you were being very nice to that man that was your age.
Okay, fair enough. So if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Hi, Anthony. How old are you?
26.
Do you believe in a God?
Yeah.
Okay. Which God do you believe in?
Well, like, there's no. I don't want to put it in a box, like, but
Just answer the question. I don't want to hear the hemming and hawing, and I don't care what you do want to do or don't want to do. Just tell me what God you believe in.
I'll go Christ then if you want to be a prick about it.
I'm not being a prick about it. You're being an asshole by not answering a direct question directly, and I'm not going to allow it. So what's the best argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God?
Can you provide any rational justification that there isn't a God? Like, you exist right now.
Okay, so you don't want to. So you don't want to engage.
There isn't a God, like.
So you don't want to engage?
I do.
Oh, fantastic! So what's the best argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in a God?
You exist.
And how does my existence provide any justification to believe in a God?
Where else is it going to come from?
That's a question. I'm asking you for an argument or evidence.
Of?
Why I should believe in God. You said that me existing is evidence of God. Explain.
Yeah. Explain what? Like, what are you not perceiving, like?
You're saying that my existence is evidence for God. Draw the connection.
Our existence, all existence, everything at once is evidence of God. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, how does that provide evidence for God?
What are you not perceiving in what I'm saying? Like, what?
Okay, so if I tell you that your existence is evidence that there's no God, does that mean that I've given you a compelling argument to not believe in God anymore?
You're saying that my existence is proof of no creator.
Right. Is that a compelling argument? Do you now believe that there's no God?
Say that again out loud and then try and say it again out loud to yourself.
Yeah, I'm telling you that you existing is proof that there is no God. So is that
proof of no God?
Yeah, exactly. So now are you convinced? Do you believe in no gods?
Say that again. Say it again. Think about it and say it again.
Are you convinced now?
You're the one that's making the point.
Are you convinced now? Yes or no? Do 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 doodle doodle do 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 do. Are you ready? Are you gonna answer the question?
What? I'm not giving you any fucking value here. Like you're
So are you convinced by my argument that your existence is evidence there's no God?
There's no argument in it. Like there's just an.
I agree. Hey, he gets it. You guys, he walked right into the point. That's my point, you motherfucker. Me saying you existing is evidence for whatever isn't actually evidence for anything. So you saying that my existence is evidence for God actually doesn't prove anything either. It's magical. So since that works both ways, what's the actual evidence for God?
Can I ask you one thing?
No, you can answer the question.
Okay, right. Ask the question one more time. What's the question that you have for me?
Since we both agree, just saying your existence is evidence for my position doesn't actually mean anything. What is the evidence for God?
But that is my position. Your position is the opposite.
Right, and so that would put us at an impasse, and so we would need something other than that.
On to the next one.
That's what I'm asking you, you moron. What's the argument or evidence for God?
You're the host.
I already asked you the question. What is the other argument or evidence? Since we both agree that isn't an argument or evidence.
Sorry, I'm trying to see what the fuck is asshole. So my point being is, If you were so wise and all knowing and all powerful and all debate all these assholes on TikTok, why are you on TikTok? You know, why are you here?
Okay, so
Why
you
are
don't have any kind of argument or evidence?
I'm saying that you don't.
Are you're trying to talk about something else because you know you can't give any reason to believe in God?
I'm saying that Jesus
Well, hey.
Christ is real. God is
Oh,
real.
what's the reason
and
to
you're
believe that?
asking For,
Yeah, what's
you're
the reason
asking
to
for me
believe
Put
that?
it into your
Yeah, what's the reason to believe that?
unintellectual box so that you can conceive it and then you can get a few views on TikTok.
What I'm trying to do is determine what's true. If you're saying it's true that God
Well,
exists,
what's
then I would
your
love to
truth
believe
then?
that. So what's
Well,
the
tell me what
evidence
your
or the
truth is
argument
then.
that would
What's your
provide
truth?
justification
What's your
to think
truth?
that it is
What's
true
your
that God
truth?
exists?
What's your truth?
Okay, I'll ask you one more time, and if you don't answer with any argument or evidence, then everybody will know what that means. What's some argument or evidence that would provide reason to believe in God?
That's such a broad. I'll give this right at you, and then if you want the Christ.
Thanks for the
that he
concession, my
existed,
friend.
Sorry.
Yeah, it literally couldn't do anything but pivot. Couldn't even engage in his own argument. All right. Good times, huh? Yeah. We're just going to go ahead and do one of these. All right. Weird. Weird. TikTok is being dumb. Okay. So if you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining the guest queue, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide rational justification to believe in a God. And then hopefully I will stop pressing the wrong button on my computer and fucking things up. That would be great. All right. What just happened? Titan's not coming up? Well, you would have been the next person I brought up, Seer, but I do not bring up people who beg in the comments, so we'll move on to the next person. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Hello, how old are you?
Yo, bro.
Okay, that's a child. Yeah, like I said, Seer, you would have been next. But, you know, I don't bring up people who beg in the comments and beg in the chat. I'm not doing that. I bring people up in order. If you're next, you get brought up, unless you beg in the comments. All right, so if you're 18, or if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Hi, Skylar, how old are you?
33.
Do you believe in a God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and which God do you believe in?
Jesus Christ.
Great. And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God?
My opinion, as all creation, as far as people, all things, because all creations need a creator. You can't have a creation without a creator.
Why should we think that the universe was created?
Because then where would it have came from?
That's a question. I'm asking you what the evidence is that it was created.
Well, because they say it came from a big bang. I mean, if you're dumb enough to believe that.
So what's the evidence that it was created?
I mean, the evidence that they say is a big bang.
I'm not asking for other people's evidence. I'm asking for your evidence that the universe was created.
My evidence is in the Bible.
No, that's the claim. What's the evidence that supports the claims in the Bible?
I'm just going to tell you evidence from the Bible.
No, the Bible isn't evidence. The Bible is the claims. So what I'm asking for is what is the actual evidence that the universe was created? Why should we believe the universe was created?
Why? Why should you believe the universe was created?
Yes. How can we determine that it's true that the universe was created?
I mean, because we live in the universe.
Well,
mean,
I live in
I'm
the
not-
universe, and I don't, and that isn't enough evidence for me to think that it was created. So clearly, I'm missing something. What am I missing?
I mean, we all live in the universe, so that's, I mean,
Yep, but what's the reason to think that the universe was created?
I guess it's all a matter of opinion.
Okay, well, if my opinion is that the universe wasn't created and there is no God, does that mean that it's true that the universe wasn't created and there is no God?
If the universe was
If that's my
created-
opinion, does that make it true?
No, that's what I'm getting ready to say.
Okay, but hold on. I just need you to actually engage with the question that I'm asking you so that we
Go
can try
ahead,
to get
go
on the
ahead.
same page here.
Yeah, go ahead.
If I say that it's my opinion that there is no God and the universe was never created, does that make it true that there is no God and the universe was never created?
No.
Okay. So it sounds like we both have the opinion, or we both have the belief, the position, that opinions don't dictate truth, right?
Agreed.
Okay. So what I'm interested in isn't whether it's your opinion that God exists. What I'm interested in is the reason to believe it's true that God exists.
So you're looking for like the facts on like Jesus actually lived, basically, is what you're saying.
No, that would never be enough evidence to believe in a God. Lots
So
of
how
people
can-
lots of people lived and have religious claims associated with them. Just because they were real people doesn't mean the claims are real, or that the claims are true.
Yeah, so really, there could be no facts. Basically, it's all about faith. If that's what you're getting at, then
No.
you can't really prove it. Honestly,
I'm not saying anything about faith. Faith is terrible. Like,
Well, what
only
I'm saying is, if the question you're asking, as far as God exists, nobody can really prove that. You know what I mean?
Okay,
It
so
would
what you're
all
saying, is that
consist
there
on the
isn't any.
person
So what you're
and what
saying
you
is there
believe.
are no arguments or evidence for God.
No, I'm not. I'm saying.
Okay, so if there is some kind of evidence, or there is an argument that would demonstrate that God exists, then just provide that instead of crying.
Well, nobody's crying.
You're
but
over there
what I'm saying
crying
is
because I don't accept your bullshit. You think
No,
that I
it
should just
comes
accept
down
that
to-
you claiming the universe was created is enough reason to believe the universe was created, and that's why you're
No, it
crying
comes
because I won't
down
accept
to-
it. So just
if I was,
if
I
there
was
is,
crying, then I
Skylar.
wouldn't be having a conversation with you, asshole. I'm saying.
So what is the
that-
argument or evidence with no more crying?
Are you gonna let me answer?
As long as your
we was sitting here
as long as your
having a
answer
fucking
actually addresses the
conversation,
question.
and we was actually having a good one. You was letting me
No,
talk.
we
and I was
weren't having a
letting you
good
talk.
conversation, and I stopped letting you
was
talk because you
until
were off
shut the
topic.
fuck up for 5 seconds so somebody
So
could
I'll
talk.
give you
You've been
one more
doing that all
opportunity.
night.
I'll give you one more
So
opportunity,
what I
Skylar.
was saying is,
So,
what I'm
Skylar,
saying
no,
is,
we're not going to go back to
at
what
this-
you were saying. We're either
See
going
what
to
I
get
mean?
on
You don't
topic.
shut the fuck up for
Either
5
we're going to get on topic, or I'm going to move on. So, do you
trying
have any
to.
argument or evidence for God?
Are you gonna let me speak?
As long as whatever you say is argument or evidence for God.
Or okay, so the evidence that you want to, okay, the evidence that Jesus exists, which is the Son of God.
I already told
has
you
been
that just
proven,
proving Jesus
has-
exists is not sufficient. I'm not asking for arguments or evidence
Jesus
for God.
is the Son of God.
That's the claim. I'm
How
asking
is-
for arguments or
that's
evidence
already
for
been
God.
proven.
No, that's the claim.
How is Jesus
order for-
being proven?
In order
that-
in order for Jesus to be God's son, God would have to exist. So why should I think that God exists in the first place?
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna let you have this one because I mean you're lost. So
Oh, I
I'm
know.
afraid
It's just
for
because
you.
I'm so lost. It's not because you just realized that you don't have any argument or evidence and you're trying to run away while saving face
No,
because
I
because
don't
your
argue with
intellectual
you,
integrity has, or your intellectual honesty has the structural integrity of wet paper towels. Like, come on, man.
No, I just can't argue with stupidity. That's all.
Oh, that's what it is. I'm the dumb one. All right. Well, I'll do you a favor and drop you down. Tonight has been rough for the theists. This is brutal. All right. So if you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you are 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Before I bring up Seer, I just want to say thank you everybody for the support. I sincerely appreciate it. Angry Neeson, thank you so much. Cool IG, Mikey, KC, always fucking awesome. Thank you so much. Lupine, Mikey, Poopman Jones, Susie. Damn, Mikey, thank you. You're fucking going nuts tonight. Really appreciate it. Lem, what is this? The Money Artist? Oh, I've seen them before. Awesome. Thank you. Alan, spelled with a silent 7. I finally remember your name. Thank you again, Casey. You fucking rule. Bear, Bradley Cooper. What is it? Eyes, Flory, Dan Blackroyd, which is an awesome name. Bradley N, Gerald, Dr. Cody J, sincerely, Jay Lennox. Thank you everybody so much for the support. I sincerely appreciate it. Yeah, I think that I wish that we were having a little bit better conversations, but otherwise I think we're having a great stream tonight. And I say we because obviously, hey, I am the cutest cowboy, the cutest cowgirl you've ever seen. That's not true at all. I've seen some pretty cute cowgirls. Way cuter than me. All right. So we'll bring up Seer next. Hi, Seer. How old are you?
I'm 21.
Do you believe in a God?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Which God do you believe in?
I believe in like a Christian neoclassical theistic God.
Okay. And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in God?
Well, I would run Bayesian confirmation with the data being meta-ontology.
Okay. Well, I mean, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm not educated on meta-ontology, so I'm going to need you to present the argument in a way that I can engage with it.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Are you familiar, like, at all, just at base level, what meta-ontology even means?
I know what ontology means, but I'm not familiar with meta-ontology, no.
Sure. So, like, meta-ontology is just, like, the explanation of why existence even exists. So just, like, some like, I guess, model to kind of critique other models to say, well, no, this is the best explanation.
Well, I'm just asking what would be a justification to believe in God?
Yeah. Well, I first have to explain to you, first what even my data is. Or if I don't explain to you what the data is, then I can't give you the justification for the conceptual scheme, silly goose.
So do you want to have a serious conversation?
I'm having a serious conversation with you right now. Do you not seem as this is a serious conversation?
No, it doesn't. It seems like what you're trying to do is use words and terms that you think make you sound smart without actually engaging in any substance. So I'm very quickly going to lose my patience if we don't get to some substance.
Yeah, no problem, Ogar. If you don't understand, just say that. So, in the model that we can best explain God in any belief system, in my belief system, it would just see like a neoclassical theist.
I'm not asking you to explain God. I'm asking you to provide evidence that God exists.
Well, first I'm explaining conceptual scheme.
No, we're not going to do that. We're just going to get to the substance. We're not going to play these games.
Okay, don't define the terms of your argument. Just run your argument.
No, because because we're not going to do arguments with terms that you need to define. You're either going to present the argument in a way that any normal person could engage with, or I'm going to move to the next person.
Wait, Ogar, I'm sorry. Do you think you don't have to define terms? Like no matter what the word is?
You're going to use normal, everyday words like they are in the dictionary that don't have to be defined in a conversation, or I'm going to move to the next person. So this is your last opportunity. The next thing you say is either going to be presenting the argument in normal, everyday terms that anyone could engage with, or if it's anything else, I'm just going to move on.
Yeah, Ogar. I think you're just going to have to run, man.
Yeah, I'm the one that's running because you won't just present the argument. You've got that right, 100%. I'm glad that you pointed that out to everybody. All right, so if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Nobody got stomped. There wasn't even a fucking conversation. He just refused to actually engage. That's all that happened. Apparently Million isn't gonna... Do I try blocking all these bots? It seems like it would take forever. Okay, well, clearly this person is not connecting. Sorry, I got distracted by all the fucking bots. So annoying. Do I just go through and fucking block them all? That would take forever. Fucking 600 bots, whatever. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide rational justification to believe in a God. Hi, Trick. How old are you?
Hello?
Hello, how old are you?
20.
Do you believe in a God?
Well, I believe there is a God. Which God is up to debate, in my opinion, but I believe that at the end of the day, you know, you go back, you ask maybe
Well,
why.
hold on. I don't
why
need
is
all
faith-
I don't need all of this. I don't need the sermon. I don't need the rambling, the preaching. Just, do you believe that a God exists? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe in a God associated with a religion?
No.
Okay. Do you
I
believe
believe there is a creator.
Okay. Do you believe in like a personal ultimate foundation to reality?
Yeah, you could say that. Maybe it's an alternate dimension. It's not really
No, I'm
clear
asking
to
if you
me.
believe in like a mind that created the universe.
Well,
That's a yes
well,
or no
a
question.
mind, you know,
That's a yes or no
we
question.
couldn't really put
That's a yes or no
outside
question.
of our perception.
That's a yes or no question.
If it's a being outside,
It's
of
a
the
yes or no
3D
question.
realm,
If your answer is anything other than yes or no, then you're fucking up. So do you believe in a mind that created the universe?
Excuse me, say that again.
So this is a yes or no question. If your answer is anything other than yes or no, you're fucking up. Okay? So do you believe in a mind that
Hey, can you
created the
relax your
universe?
tone? Can you relax your tone a little bit? Say that again.
Okay, fair enough. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus, that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in God, and that you can actually, answer the question about, whether you believe in a God or which God you believe in. That's important. Thanks, Mikey. Hi, ACP. How old are you?
Hello, I'm 33.
Okay. Do you believe in a God?
Yes.
Okay. And which God do you believe in?
Christian God.
Fantastic. What would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in God?
I believe there are several arguments.
Sure. What do you think is best?
Okay, I'd like to continue one of the arguments already provided before, but without any justification, like the example of universe being created.
Okay. Why should we think that the universe was created?
I think that we should think it was created because the alternatives are illogical.
How do you know that you've considered every possible alternative?
Because we can take them by let's say what is possibility of existence of anything. For example, the universe, either it has a beginning or it doesn't have a beginning. That's just the simple law of excluded middle of logic. Okay, do you agree with that?
Yep, I agree that would follow from the law of excluded middle, that's a dichotomy.
Okay, so then.
So how did you determine that the universe does not have, or that the universe does have a beginning?
Well, because the alternative is illogical. That's what I said, and I can tell.
Okay, but
tell
I'm asking you for how you
yeah.
came to that determination, please.
I'm going to explain.
Okay,
my
so what I need you to do, ACP,
yes.
no more of the like preludes to what you're going to say. Just say the thing, right? So instead of when I ask you a question, I don't need you to tell me, oh, I'm going to answer that. You could just answer it. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm trying to clarify something, you don't need to tell me that you're going to clarify it. You just give the clarification. Okay? So I'm going to ask you for the argument that the universe must have had a beginning, and then your response should just be the argument or evidence that the universe had a beginning, that had to have a beginning, and not telling me that you're going to do that. Okay? So what would be the reason we should think the universe had a beginning?
Sorry, the English is not my first language. I'll try
okay,
to
so this is more bullshit, ACP. Just tell me why we should think that the universe had a beginning.
Because otherwise, if the universe would have not had a beginning, it means that the past time should have been eternal, right? Do you agree with that?
No.
No?
Nope.
So you can have a thing without a beginning and have a time which is finite.
Yes.
How can you explain that?
Do you know what eternalism is?
Yes, the B theory of time.
Yeah, exactly. So you could
Okay.
have a B theory universe with a first and last moment that never came into existence. So it never began, even though it has a first and last moment. So that is one conception where you could have the type of universe that I'm talking about as a possibility. You need to rule that out.
But if the universe would have been eternal, like eternalism, you should have had an amount of infinite events in the past, right?
Nope. I just explained why that doesn't follow.
Okay. Okay, I have to check this thing because I believe that this is strange.
Nope. This is just what B theory is. Now there could be a B theory universe that has infinite time, right? That's definitely an open possibility. I don't think that there's any reason why we should, take that off the table. As far as I can tell, that's still a live possibility. But it's also a live possibility that there's a B theory universe that has no beginning, but it does have an end, that has a beginning but no end, or one that has a beginning and an end. Those are all live possibilities as far as I can tell. And you're saying that you've ruled all of those types of B theory universes out, and you're saying that the only possible universe is one that actually has like a coming into existence. And so that's what you need to demonstrate, that any conception of the universe that doesn't include it coming into existence is illogical.
Oh, because but then let me ask you: do you conceive like the universe is B theory of time? Do we have B theory of time in the current universe?
Yeah, I think that it's almost guaranteed that we do. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that means there is a first moment in time. If you
No, not necessarily. I'm just saying that's a possibility that we haven't ruled out. But you're saying that you have ruled it out.
What is your view on this?
I'm agnostic.
Okay.
I don't have a position on whether the past is finite or infinite. I don't have a position on whether the future will be finite or infinite. I'm saying that any of those and any combination of those seem to be live possibilities. And in order to take a firm position on which is the case, we would need more evidence as far as I can tell. But you're claiming that not only do you know what's the case, that it's none of those options. So I need you to demonstrate how all of those options entail contradictions.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about the infinite mostly, but I see your point. If the B theory, let's say, if you're right saying that the B theory can have a finite time and the universe still being eternal,
yep.
Even if I don't understand what that means, being eternal without time. What does that mean, by the way?
Yeah, eternal just means without beginning or end, right? Without, like, there's no coming into existence, there's no going out of existence, right? There was no, like, in order for something to not be eternal, there would have to be a state of existence where it doesn't exist, and then a different state of existence where it does exist, right? And
yeah, but we are talking about the material universe, right?
Yep.
When you say universe, we think about the stuff being inside the
Yep.
natural world, right?
Right. And I'm saying that we don't have any reason to think that there was ever a state of existence where that didn't exist. But you're saying there must have been a state of existence where that didn't exist, and that any other view is contradictory. So I'm asking you to just tell me what the contradiction is, or how you derive a contradiction from the views that I'm saying seem to be live possibilities.
But because to me it looks like if you have this material stuff, like for example, think about a particle existing always, and then sometime it just started moving, let's say.
No.
Then
No,
how do you see
no.
this?
At all moments in time, there would be change, movement, all that kind of stuff, as far as I can tell. Like
All
change
moments in time.
change would exist in every state of existence.
Yeah, but okay. I
Your
have hard time
claim,
understanding.
your claim is that there must have been a state of existence where the universe didn't exist, and a different state of existence where the universe began to exist. I'm saying I don't know why you would believe that, but your claim is that all other views entail contradictions. So I'm
Well,
asking over and over again for you to just tell me how you determine that there are contradictions in the other views.
yeah, I was saying about that, especially considering that you'll need to have infinity in this type of universes. But I see your point, and I'll think about this more.
Okay.
So because in this view, if you are right, then it's true that this would be it would be a question of a possibility which will not entail a contradiction. You see, I understand your point of view.
Well-
But okay, this is one argument. If you want, we can go through others.
Well, I was actually just going to say, like, I appreciate you so much for genuinely attempting to give an argument and genuinely engaging with the response that you received. And yeah, if you have a different argument you want to discuss, I'd be happy to discuss it.
Yeah, let's take, for example, the resurrection of Jesus.
Okay, why should we think that that happened?
Because we have pretty solid historical evidence for that.
Yeah, what's the historical evidence for the resurrection?
For example, we have some historical facts, like the fact that Jesus existed, which is undisputed historically.
Well,
The
it
fact
is
that
disputed. It is disputed. So claiming
mean-
it's undisputed is kind of silly. But I'm not
Uh,
asking about whether or not he existed. Let's say, for the sake
Yeah.
of conversation, that I grant he existed. What's the evidence for the resurrection? That's all I'm interested in. Please don't talk about other aspects.
I mean, we are constructing a historical argument. Like
No,
you need
we're
this.
only talking about the resurrection.
Okay, then I would say he resurrected.
Yeah,
So
what's the
what-
evidence that he
what's the
resurrected?
argument? But I cannot put an argument if I don't present the facts, right?
No, you need to only present facts relevant directly to the resurrection. Not about his life, not about anything
Okay.
else. Just directly
Okay.
relevant to the resurrection.
People said he resurrected, and for example, they
Okay, do you think
they
that
saw
people
the-
said that Muhammad split the moon in two?
wait, I didn't finish my sentence. And they actually saw the tomb empty, right? Tomb.
Uh-huh. And where can I read firsthand accounts of that?
You can read the first-hand accounts in the primary sources, like for example the Gospels and
Well, the
Paul.
Gospels are written anonymously, so they don't have any eyewitness testimony. Where can I read firsthand eyewitness testimony about Jesus' resurrection?
They are not anonymous. They were written in the sense that no one signed itself. But
Yeah,
they
they're
were known.
anonymous. Yep, they're anonymous, ACP.
What do you mean they're
Up until this, you don't know what anonymous means?
No, exactly what you mean. Like we don't know who wrote, or they didn't sign themselves. That's the question.
Yeah, we have no idea who wrote any of the Gospels. They're anonymous.
But that's completely false.
Okay, provide me
Like,
the evidence for
Yeah.
who wrote Matthew.
Matthew was written by the Apostle Matthew. Was
Yep,
said
then
by,
provide me the evidence.
Yeah, I'm saying now. You have, for example, all the 2nd century.
Nope,
historians
the
saying
evidence from when it was written. Not that other people later decided to pretend that that Matthew wrote Matthew.
Okay,
I'm
all the
asking you for the
manus-
actual direct evidence of Matthew's authorship.
Yeah, the direct evidence is that every manuscript we have, they contain the title according to Matthew. That's the evidence.
No, that's
For
not
sure.
true. That's 100% not true.
100%. Okay,
No,
check it.
earliest Matthew manuscript.
Yeah, well, all of them which have a title will have this.
So the earliest Gospel to Matthew is Papyrus 66 and Papyrus 4. So the earliest versions, the earliest manuscripts we have from Matthew come from the late 2nd or early 3rd century. So about 150 plus years after Jesus died. So that means that we have no original documents. And while the physical manuscripts carry a title from the late 100s to early 200s, the patristic tradition of attributing Gospel to Matthew is slightly older. So Papias from 120, or from 130, so 100 years after Jesus died is when they started pretending, or supposedly started pretending that Matthew wrote it.
Why do you think that? Wait, why do you
So
think
the
that
original
started
authors of the
supposing-
Gospels did not sign their names. Titles were added later by scribes and editors. So it
How
sounds
do you
like the
know that?
titles, the names were added later. So what I
How do
need
you
from
know?
you is actual direct evidence of who the authors were.
No, but how do you know this? They added later. Where do you get this information? What all the manuscripts we have contain the title. All the people around the Mediterranean Sea knew exactly who wrote the gospel across the Roman
ACP,
Empire.
I'm asking not just somebody writing a word on a document doesn't provide evidence for who the author is.
But
I'm
we have
asking the direct
independent
evidence of the
sources.
authorship.
We have independent sources. Of
Yes, what is the
historians like
independent
this.
source from when Matthew was written that demonstrates Matthew was the one who wrote it?
But that's how history works. You have
No.
some
What
contemporaries.
we're
Can you tell
what
me
I'm
who wrote Tacitus? Who wrote
what I'm
Annals
asking
of
you,
Roman Empire?
ACP, I'm not making claims about who wrote what. You are. So what I'm
You
asking
did,
you
you
for
did.
is the evidence that Matthew was written by Matthew.
You actually did
Without
claim
just
that we don't know.
without just appealing to people believing in it, what's the actual evidence?
But wait, you just made the claim that we don't know who wrote them, and I'm providing you evidences.
Yeah, no, you
across the
haven't provided
history.
any evidence yet. All you've provided evidence for is that people say Matthew wrote Matthew. What's the evidence that Matthew actually did write Matthew?
People saying it's evidence. Don't you agree that this?
Oh,
this
no,
raises the
absolutely not.
probability?
No,
This
absolutely
raises
not.
So okay, if you go to a doctor and you say that your tooth hurts, that is not evidence that your tooth actually hurts because you're saying it.
If you don't
insane.
understand that these are completely different situations, then I don't know what to tell you,
Why?
ACP.
Why?
Because what we're talking about here is something like historical. We're talking about something from a very long time ago that a lot of
Yes.
people have lots of reasons to lie about. Obviously, the
Yeah, well-
church wants to be able to pretend that it was written by somebody important so that they can preserve the idea that there's some authority in the text. So that obviously is a lot of motivation for them to say, and the fact that we have evidence of when they started pretending that it was written by Matthew and all the other gospels, when they started, we have evidence of when they started pretending to know the authors or that they, attributed authorship. But what I need you to do is find me an actual biblical scholar, someone who actually has like peer-reviewed, published, works on this, articles, papers, books that demonstrate the evidence that we know the authorship of the Gospels.
Yeah, first of all, what you said it's completely false. in
Okay,
the
so
sense that-
provide me the biblical scholarship.
Just to tell you,
The
you said
biblical
that-
scholarship, please.
Okay, Mike Licona, one of them. But let me
Mike
let
what?
me tell you, Mike Licona. Mike
Okay,
Licona.
gospel
You said that
authorship.
you said that they would give names to prominent people.
New
but
Testament
what
scholar and
is-
apologist suggests canonical gospels are likely authored by minor disciples or educated associates of the apostles rather than the traditional apostolic eyewitnesses themselves. So Mike Licona disagrees with you. Do you have a different one?
Wait, he still thinks that we know who the authors are, right?
He does not agree with you that Matthew was written by Matthew. So what's the evidence that Matthew was written by Matthew?
I already said the evidence.
No, you didn't give the evidence. I asked you for a biblical scholar that
Man.
agrees with you. You named one who doesn't agree with you. So try again.
Okay.
So where can I find biblical scholarship from people,
Just-
who are
just Google
scholars?
it. Yeah, Google it now. What you did for Mike Licona, just Google what are the scholars who agreed, and you'll find thousands. Try it.
Biblical scholars who believe gospels were
And you will
written
say, they say,
by
well, how can we
Matthew,
believe them?
Mark, Luke, and John. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's see
And
here.
you said just one
Mainstream
thing I would like-
critical biblical scholarship, there's a consensus that gospels were originally circulated anonymously and attributed to Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John decades later.
What does anonymously mean again? That they didn't sign themselves. That's true.
No, that they're anonymous, that we don't know who the authors are.
No, that doesn't mean.
Yes. So
And-
okay,
and
so
one
then
thing- Sir,
give me the
one
evidence.
thing you said, just let me 1 minute. One thing you said is that.
No, we're not going to
they
play these games.
attributed-
Either you can provide the evidence for your claim or you can retract the claim.
I'm giving you one more evidence. Look, you said that they.
Don't talk
give
about what
pro-
I said. I don't need that, ACP. What's the actual
Okay.
evidence?
The actual evidence is the name of Mark and Luke. They were not prominent names, as you said that they.
I don't
picked
really
Matthew.
care what you think about the names. I'm asking you for the evidence that you can determine who the authors were.
Another evidence is that no one else in the history said that they were written by someone else, that they were attributed to the manuscripts.
Look, ACP, you started out really good faith, but as soon as I actually push back on this, you stop being good faith, and that's really frustrating.
Why do you think though? I'm
So
listening.
I'm going to give you one more opportunity. If you answer with anything other than actual evidence that supports your position, I'm just going to move on. So what is some evidence that supports the position that the traditionally attributed authors of the Gospels are the actual authors of the Gospels?
Manuscripts titles.
Okay, so we already talked about that. That's not evidence. I don't know what to tell you. Frustrating. Ugh. No, I've talked to a lot of good faith people who don't believe in me, agree with me. All right, so if you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you are 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Hi, Abdullah, are you at least 18?
Yeah.
Okay, and do you believe in a God?
Yeah.
Which God do you believe in?
You're fat.
Yeah, that's true. What God do you... Oh, well, I guess if that's all you had, fair enough. So if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Before I move on to the next person, thanks everybody for the support. You guys fucking rule. Where were we at before? Love Animals, thank you. Kimchi, Gerald Hat, that's awesome. Mikey, Money Artist, 3 Pips, thank you so much, Mikey. I appreciate all of you. Also, thanks everybody for the follows. Where we at? We're almost at 3,400. Holy shit. Maybe we can get to 3,400 followers before the stream's over. That would be wild. Holy shit, 33.99? Are we going to hit 3,400? That's fucking wild, guys. Thank you. Yeah, hopefully we can have at least one more actual good conversation. Oh, fuck. Is that going to push it to 34? Dr. Doom Sauce? 3401. Holy fuck. Blowing right past it. Damn. Well, thank you for the support, Infexus and Dr. Doom Sauce. Thank you for the follows, everybody. The likes. I'm just going to assume that those 123,000 likes are real because I like to. Prison Mike. Fuck yeah. Love the Office reference. Okay, so we'll actually bring somebody up. Make sure if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, you're 18 plus and have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in God. Thanks, Dr. Doom Sauce. You're awesome. Hi, Henry. How old are you?
I'm 56.
Okay. Do you believe in a God?
Yes, I do.
Fantastic. Which God do you believe in?
I believe in the God that created the earth.
Okay, yeah. I mean, everybody who believes in a God would say, or at least a monotheistic God would say they believe in the God that creates the earth. So that doesn't tell me anything. If you can't give me an unambiguous answer, then I'm not going to, I mean, it's not worth wasting time trying to talk to you. So I'll ask one more time. What God do you believe in?
Not other planets have what we have here. So somehow.
Okay, so you're not going to answer the question?
No, I am answering it.
Okay, so then just tell me the God that you believe in. If you answer with anything other than just tell me the God you believe in, I'm going to move on.
Christian God.
Fan-fucking-tastic. I don't know why you have to be... I mean, I guess that's false. I do know why you're embarrassed to admit that you believe in the Christian God, but I appreciate you manning up and telling me. So what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God?
That we are here, and how did we get here?
How would us being here provide evidence for God?
That there is no more being created. There is not a creation again.
That doesn't tell me anything. What's the evidence for God? How does this give us evidence for God?
The evidence is we are human beings, and we came from somewhere.
How does that provide evidence?
Evidence?
Yeah, what's the evidence for God? You're saying us existing is evidence. I don't see the connection. I need you to help me out.
The connection is we were put here by some being.
Well, no, that's the claim. What's the evidence that that's true?
They're not still being created on other planets. But this is the only planet that has human beings.
Henry, all you're doing, do you understand the difference between making a claim and supporting a claim?
Okay, yeah, I understand what a debate is. I have to have something to back it up.
Yeah, so I'm asking you to back up your position and give me a reason to think that God actually exists.
Okay, God actually exists because of the creation.
That's just assuming that God exists. It's not a creation unless God exists. So before we can conclude that it's a creation, you have to demonstrate that it was created by a God. How can you do that?
Well, you're right in a sense, but it takes the belief that we did not come from monkeys, we did not come from fish.
No, why should we believe that a God exists, Henry? I don't want you to tell me the things that you don't believe in. I'm asking you to give me a reason to believe in a God.
The reason that we believe in God, I guess because we were born to believe in God.
I mean, that is, again, just another claim. What is it? Okay, I don't want to keep going in circles with you. I'll ask one more time. Is there any reason to believe in a God?
All right, yeah, we're pretty much done. Okay.
Fair enough. All right. So if you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Let me check one thing really quick here. Interesting. You coming up, Sarah? Bueller? No? Fair enough. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Is Sarah just going to hang out in the guest or in the queue or actually join? Hello, Sarah. Are you
Hello.
18?
I'm 46.
Okay. Do you believe in a God?
I do.
Fantastic. Which God do you believe in?
I believe in Jesus Christ.
Cool. And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God?
So I have the best information I can say is the world that we're living in now. Currently, the Bible not only goes together with what we're doing right now. We're in the book of Revelations.
Well,
and it all lines up.
I mean, there is no book of Revelations. I think you mean the book of Revelation. And obviously, like, the prophecies in there can't possibly come true because those prophecies are all about, first century or maybe second century Rome, right? So, like, obviously those prophecies can't come true because if they had come true, they would have been coming true thousands of years ago. So that's just nonsense. Just claiming that Revelation is coming true just tells me that you don't know anything about the Bible and you don't know anything about Revelation. So let's stick on hopefully something that you do know something about. What would be a reason to believe in God?
Well, would you rather go without the world without something to rely on? That's what you're telling me?
No, I'm asking whether there's any justification to think that it's true that a God exists.
Yes, there is a lot.
Okay, fantastic. What would you say is the best piece of evidence or the best argument that would provide justification to believe in God?
Well, if you've ever looked at a graph of the major religions, you would understand that Christianity is one of the highest. It's over Muslim. And if it's over there, you know how many people believe in Muslim? There's over.
So you're saying that the
1.4
number of
billion.
people, you're saying the number of people who believe something makes it true?
Well, no, that's not what I said now, is it?
Okay, so then how is the number of people who believe in it relevant?
Okay.
Is the number of people who believe in it relevant?
Well, yes, it is actually.
Okay, how so?
First of all, I'm going to talk to you like a woman, and I'm going to talk to you like a man, so shut the fuck up, you fat fucking piece of shit. Oh.
There you go. Exactly that. See what happens when you actually try to get evidence from somebody? That's also had nothing. That's 2 in a row with absolutely nothing to offer, which is unfortunate. So if you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining the guest queue, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Yeah, 46-year-old toddler. Hi, Bryson, how old are you?
I am 18. Do you remember me?
I kind of remember the name.
A little bit. I'm 18. 09/14 2007.
What God do you believe in?
I believe in the Christian God.
Cool. Well, what argument or evidence do you want to present today?
So I know you're not a huge fan of the God created Earth, so I want to go more into God created mankind. Okay.
Well, hold on. What?
No, well, I
God can't create mankind unless God exists. Why should we think that God exists?
I think God existed because exists because He created mankind.
Okay, but that's just a claim.
Yeah, well, I want to back that up. I just want to go into that debate.
So why should we think that mankind was created and not just a product of unguided evolution?
Damn, dude. Oh, okay, hold on. Let me 1 second. Why do we think mankind was created instead of just being just always being? Correct. That's your.
No, I don't think humanity always existed. I think we've existed for something like 250,000 to 300,000 years. So
Okay.
that's not very long at all on a cosmic scale. But I'm just saying, it seems the evidence that we have points to the conclusion that humanity came into existence as a result of unguided natural selection, the process of evolution. So what I'm asking is, why should we think that it wasn't unguided evolution and that a God was involved?
Because no other, from our knowledge, animal or being has evolved into a sophisticated, complex animal, I guess you would call us, mankind. We've never seen that. Historically, we've never experienced that.
Well, but Bryson, like, just saying that there's like some unique feature of humanity, that doesn't demonstrate that a God was involved in our creation.
Yeah, agreed. And just saying that we came from monkeys doesn't make me believe that we came from monkeys.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to make you believe in evolution.
Got it.
You're trying to say that that whether evolution happened or not, that there was a God involved in our creation. I'm asking for the justification for that. Your answer when I asked you for the justification, just a moment ago, your response was to say that there's some unique feature of humanity. So I pointed out that just saying that humanity has some seemingly unique feature isn't evidence that there's a God. So what would be evidence that there was a God involved in our creation?
Correct. Saying that we are just unique is not justification. But your counter is evolution, right? What would the counter there?
No, I'm not countering anything.
Okay.
I'm saying that there seems to be evidence for this other view. Why should I get rid of that other view and take your view?
Because there isn't evidence for that other view.
Okay, you know what? Fine. Let's say that you've demonstrated that evolution is false. I don't believe in evolution at all. I think it's bullshit. Why should I believe in a God?
Due to the fact that something couldn't come from nothing.
Okay, I don't have to have something coming from nothing.
So if humans didn't evolve, and if they came 300,000 years ago, which is, like you said, a measly amount of time in the universe, where did they come from?
I can just say I don't know. Why should I think a God was involved?
Because that would be unrealistic to just define something as you don't know. You can't.
I'm not defining it as I don't know. I'm just saying that I don't know what the answer is. It's like, for example, if detectives show I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'm not. No, continue on. My bad.
Okay. If detectives showed up at a crime scene with a dead body, now, do you think that they should start out saying, I don't know who committed the murder, and then they should look for evidence and then, conclude that the murderer was whoever the evidence points to? Or do you think that they should show up, see the dead body, and go, well, the butler did it? And then when somebody else tells them, well, actually, there is no butler, they say, well, then how else could it have happened? So there must have been a butler. Like, obviously, that would be ridiculous. But that's what you're doing with God right now.
Okay. But that's not entirely how I see it.
Well, what's the honest position when the detectives show up on the murder scene and they see the body, and they don't yet have the evidence to determine who committed the murder? What would be the honest position if someone was to ask them who committed the murder?
Precisely what you said. You would go through the detective process.
No, what should their honest answer be if they've only been on the scene for 1 minute and they haven't gotten to examine any evidence yet, and someone says, who committed this murder? What would the honest answer from the detectives be?
Is that your argument? Because you have
No, I'm asking you a question. I'm asking you a question. Please answer the question.
I don't know.
Oh, fantastic. So if I'm saying that I don't know how humanity came into existence, you don't get to just say, in the same way that I couldn't just tell the police officer who's only been on scene for a minute, well, the butler did it, and expect them to believe me. You don't get to just tell me, well, God did it, and expect me to believe you. I'm asking for the evidence.
Yes, sir. All right. So if our counter argument is that you...
Nope, we're not talking about the counter.
No. Okay,
no, we're not talking about the counter.
I just want to assess it really quickly.
No, Bryson.
Okay, hold on, just 1 second. Just 1 second. You said that you...
No, Bryson, we're not talking about... No, we're not talking about this. No, we're not talking about this, Bryson.
Facts for why mankind exists.
Yeah, I'm asking you to provide me the evidence that a God was involved. You don't need to talk about what I believe. You don't need to talk about what I don't believe. You don't need to talk about other things you don't believe in. You only need to tell me the evidence that God was involved. that there is
Got
a
it.
God that could have been
So,
involved.
from my experience in life, I believe that God created humans due to us having a Bible dated and scriptures dated from before. Is that not a factual claim?
It has nothing to do with what's real. Like, obviously, there are religions that exist that are older than Christianity that also have books that are older than any book that Christianity refers to. So just having old books that support your religious position has nothing to do with whether your religious position is correct. So I'm asking for the evidence that God actually exists, not that people have believed that God exists for a long time. I agree that people have believed in gods for a really long time. But that has nothing to do with whether or not gods actually exist. Because there was also a really long time where people believed in like the earth being flat. There was a long time where people believed that lightning bolts were thrown down by gods. Just because people believed stuff that was wrong for a really long time doesn't mean that we should also believe in wrong stuff that other people have believed for a long time. So we shouldn't be talking about how many people believe something. We shouldn't be talking about how long people have believed something. We should only be talking about the evidence that supports the belief.
Got it. Okay. All right. I will be back in probably about a week. I just enjoy these debates because you give me the points that I need to find, and it takes time. You get to do this all the time. I only get to clock in every once a week, so I enjoy the argument. I will be back.
All right. Well, I hope that we get to have a good conversation, and maybe next time you'll convert me.
Thank you.
And I mean it. I'm ready to convert. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do one of these. Yeah, W's for Bryson, because at least he was honest. It was a little bit frustrating in the middle there, but at least he was honest. Okay, so I'm getting really sick. Okay. All right. Holy shit. Okay, I thought it was way later than it is. All right, so if you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining the guest queue, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Hey, VP, how old are you?
Yo, I'm 26.
Do you believe in a God?
I do believe in a God.
Cool. Which God do you believe in?
I believe in I guess you could say a higher being, a higher.
Do you believe in like a personal ultimate foundation to reality?
Yeah, kind of like an intelligence above the human intelligence.
Right, but is it like ultimate, like everything else in existence relies on it for its existence?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Fantastic. What would you say is the best argument or evidence that would give us rational justification to believe in a God?
I would say it's free will, if you believe in that.
I don't.
You don't, okay?
No. Well, I mean, kind of. I guess I would call myself a compatibilist, but that's like the one view that I allow myself to cope on, just because, like, what else am I going to do, you know? But no, I don't really believe in free will.
All right. But you believe in the laws of physics, right?
I believe that what we call the laws of physics are our current best attempt to explain the dispositions of reality.
All right. And what has those laws of physics led to?
I don't know what you mean.
Like humanity and created intelligence.
I'm not sure what you're talking about. Are you saying that our existence is a result of the laws of physics?
Yes, and intelligence as
Okay.
a part of that. So the natural laws of physics created intelligence.
I think created is kind of a loaded word, but fine.
All right. But that would, according to me, point to that there is something guiding us towards intelligence.
And why is that?
I mean, there has to be some sort of path.
That just
set
sounds like an
by
argument from
something.
incredulity. Well, it has to be this way. I can't imagine that it could be another way. That's not an argument. That's just you saying that you don't have a very good imagination.
No, I mean, if we think about our own intelligence, how we set set things and create paths towards intelligence, for example, AI.
Okay, hold on. I understand that, like, you know, we are trying to create artificial intelligence, whatever, but I don't see any reason why we should think that humanity is anything other than a result of natural processes. So why should we think that there's anything more than just natural processes involved in humanity coming into existence?
Yeah, and I believe that the natural processes are God.
Right.
Basically.
Well, I mean, that just makes me feel like you lied to me earlier, which is a little bit frustrating. But
How?
because obviously the natural processes are not the kind of thing that we talked about before, right? We were talking about a mind with intelligence that is the ultimate foundation to all of reality. That does not describe natural processes or natural laws. What's up, Monkey Boy?
They had to come into
what's up?
being.
Yeah, I understand that humanity came into existence, but I'm not seeing any reason to think that there is a God, or that we should think that a God was involved, or that there was anything more than unguided natural processes.
But they are guided, though.
Yeah, that's
by
the
laws
claim.
of-
No, the
I
laws
mean-
of physics don't guide anything. The laws of physics are just descriptions of the dispositions of reality, or like of certain things in reality, or certain aspects of reality. I don't know, however you would want to say that. But the laws of physics don't guide anything.
So evolution isn't real then, or
No, evolution isn't guided.
but it obviously guides towards
No.
something
No.
greater.
No, there's no guiding. All that's happening in evolution is there are random mutations in genetic information, and those confer either advantages, disadvantages, or neutral results. And the ones that provide advantages, for the survival of the individual that has the genetic mutation, are going to get passed on to future generations. And then, depending on the level of advantage conferred by that mutation, it may become represented in the full population, and then that population changes as a result. Or if the mutation is detrimental, then any members of the population that have that mutation will die out prior to producing viable offspring. If it's neutral, then maybe they'll survive, maybe they won't, but it probably won't have a big impact. So, I mean, that's all it is. And natural selection isn't guiding anything. It's just the creatures that are best fit to survive in their environment are the ones that do, or what I should say is the creatures that are best fit to survive and produce viable offspring in their environment are the ones that pass their genes along, and those genes, continue to change over time. And based on the conditions of the environment, those changes will accumulate over time, and you'll see really small changes on small time scales and bigger changes on bigger time scales. And it's not always like exactly one-to-one correlation. There's stuff like, punctuated equilibrium, whatever. Evolution happens at different times depending on the circumstance, or different rates depending on the circumstances. But I don't see any reason to think that any of this is guided. I don't see any reason to think that there's any need for anything more than just unguided mutation and natural selection.
But the fact that there are positive outcomes.
You call them positive. There's no reason to think that there's a value associated. Literally, all that happens, all that evolution is, or all that natural selection is selecting for, is just which creatures do the best job of producing viable offspring given their living conditions.
Yeah, and that has led us to intelligence and
yeah, sure. And it's also led us to bats, and it's led us to dolphins, and it's led us to ants, and it's led us to beetles. So what?
Yeah, but the fact that we are now self-aware, being able to observe.
Yeah, there's no reason to think that that means anything. You would have to give a reason to think that that means something. All you're doing is pointing to features of reality, or features of our existence, things that we interact with, and saying, oh, this is a reason to believe in God. But I'm asking, why is that a reason to believe in God? And you haven't even tried to answer that question yet.
I guess just the fact that we can observe the universe points to something, yeah, leading us this way.
How does it do that?
Did you hear the question, VP?
No.
How does it do that?
How does it do that? Yeah.
I mean, how is it really important? It did.
No, you're saying that
We're
these
asking you
things
to justify the statement. Like I could just say it points to atheism, and then obviously you're just gonna ask, well, how does it point to atheism? I could just say the same facts you listed points to the opposite conclusion. What's interesting is not you to just name things are reasons, but you to explicate and show that they're reasons. You don't just declare something's a reason and then get away with it scot-free. You actually have to do your homework. So the claim is that the fact we can just observe the universe is some indication that there's a God. How?
Good question.
It's not like if a God existed, you would expect any of these facts. Unless you want to dispute that, but I think it's like rather obvious that the fact we observe the universe is not an evidence for theism.
No, I guess I'm just thinking about our own intelligence and how we.
What about it?
Yeah, how we create stuff and.
Okay, we create stuff.
Yeah.
But we have an evolutionary history. We have certain psychologies, biological dispositions, instinct. I mean, why would we have any reason to think that our values, disposition, psychology would reflect a God? Like you can have a God who just desires only cheese. Unless you have an independent motivation. I mean, obviously, if our psychology and dispositions and values reduced to an evolutionary story, then a God just, in principle, we wouldn't have reasons in principle to think that would have a shared set of facts like those.
No. I mean, I don't believe really in morals.
I'm not sure what that's responding to.
Yeah, you know, the cheese argument.
I'm saying, what does that have to do with morality? I'm saying that if we know that God is not going to have an evolutionary story that explains his dispositions, then we wouldn't have reasons to suspect that he has similar dispositions.
I guess not.
Okay, so do you have anything of substance, VP?
Not really.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you doing your best, and I hope you have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
Well, at least we got there in the end.
Yeah, he wasn't that bad.
No, definitely not.
Confused
Especially
as they are.
Right. Yeah, I mean, definitely better than some of the conversations I've had tonight. That's for sure. It's been a little rough. I was like super stoked about yesterday. I felt like yesterday's stream went amazing. I had so many good conversations, and then tonight it's just been fucking rough.
Yeah, I didn't even. I definitely didn't see your stream yesterday. I wasn't even on that long yesterday.
Oh yeah, I know.
I did some streaming.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I felt like it went well yesterday. Fuck. Well, now I feel like an asshole. I want to bring everybody up. Do we just have like a big atheist circle jerk? I don't know. That's not really what. Oh, fuck. I don't know. I'm gonna try to bring up the next person. We'll see if we can have a good conversation. Make sure if you're in the guest queue, you're 18 plus and have some argument or evidence for God. Do I sit in the sidecar? What do we? Do we just bring up all the cool atheists? Or maybe Lobes didn't even mean to request. Hi, Lobes.
Hey, I came for the jerk.
Yeah, I figured. Well, I don't know if I want to panel it up right now, though, because, I mean, I don't want to, like, fucking overload anybody or anything. I don't know. We'll try to see if we can have a conversation here. Maybe you guys can take it and I can relax. Oh, this same person keeps requesting, and then when I bring them up, they leave every time. Hi, Shimmy. How old are you?
Hey, I'm 32.
Do you believe in a God?
Okay, so it depends. So I want to ask first is what you define God. Do you mean God by like the biblical God, or do you mean God as in just a creator?
I mean a personal ultimate foundation to reality.
Okay, so in that case, I wouldn't say that God isn't real. In that case, I would say that's unknown. I wouldn't say he isn't real. I wouldn't say he is real.
But I asked if you believe in something like that, so it sounds like you don't.
No, you said God isn't real. Like there's
I'm
no
asking
chance
if you believe in a God.
I'm saying there is a chance it's possible that there is a creator, yes.
Okay, so you don't currently have an active belief that there is a God.
Not 100%, no, but I believe it's possible. 50-50,
Okay.
I would say.
Fair enough. So if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you are 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in a God. Hey. I love being able to breathe fire on here. I don't know why. It fucking tickles the shit out of me. Hi, GA. How old are you?
40.
Cool. And do you believe in a God?
Yeah.
Cool. Which God do you believe in?
Biblical.
I
I will say, if my blood starts rushing, I'm leaving. Just letting you know if I take off.
Okay. I assume you mean the Christian Bible?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I will say I got, a couple of other atheists up here, but don't be intimidated. They're actually really nice. I'm the only asshole here. But what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in a God?
I got, I'm going to take a curveball here. I'm going on Merriam-Webster, and it says God is defined as a supreme or ultimate reality. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, typically what I'll say is like the personal ultimate foundation to reality. Is that fair?
Okay. Yeah, we'll meet in the middle. So here's my line of argument, and I know you're gonna go against it, but I have some other stuff too that I pulled up. So you're well, we'll just start. Ask your question for me. What's the question you're asking?
Yeah, just whether or not or what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would give us justification to believe that God exists?
Okay, well, I'm gonna say you already proved that God exists. Based off your statement, God isn't real. I'm going off the idea of the conditional. If proof exists, then God exists, yeah? So if no God exists, then no proof exists.
Okay, why would we believe that?
Well, it's a common lawyer terminology or common lawyer play where it's called a contrapositive. That's the idea that I used.
I know what a contrapositive is. I'm just asking why we would think that if proof exists, then God must exist.
Oh, well, okay, so if no God exists and no proof exists, you set it up.
No,
to say that proof came before the conclusion, yeah?
No, how would you demonstrate that if no God exists, then no proof exists, or if proof exists, then God exists?
Okay, you create a anti-God, so to speak, by saying that no proof exists because proof came before the proof comes before the conclusion.
Yeah, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. GA, I understand what a contrapositive is, and that if it's the case that no God means no proof, then it also would be the case that there being proof means there is a God. I understand all of that. I'm just asking, what's the evidence that those claims are true?
It's impossible to say for this question because proof came before the conclusion. You're saying that no God exists because there's no proof. You're absolutely right. Because proof for the premise forms the conclusion.
I'm not saying that God doesn't exist because there's no proof. I didn't say that at all. Now, I'm just asking you, what would be the justification to think that there is a God? And your apparent justification is that if any kind of proof for anything exists, then a God must exist. But I'm asking you to justify that claim.
Okay. So let's take this. You want proof. We're going off the idea of evidence and indication. And for indication or evidence indication, it says something that serves to indicate, yeah?
So do you have any kind of argument or evidence, or do you just want to fart around with definitions.
No. Something that serves to indicate as a premise for the conclusion of God. That's what we're going on, yeah?
Anything that raises the probability that God exists.
Okay, well, the idea that there's mass graves in Jerusalem on the Mount of Olives. That's a premise for my conclusion that God exists.
What are the other premises?
Well, the other premise I have is off of a logical fallacy. It'd be the appeal of faith. Faith, by definition, relies on a belief that does not rest on logic or evidence.
I have a suggestion just for the host. Maybe we should put this guest aside and...
Yeah, it doesn't really seem like we're getting anywhere. GA, I think that you need to, like, maybe do some research into, you know, how to, like, make arguments, how to demonstrate things, and how to provide evidence for things. And maybe you can come back another time and we can try again, because definitely we're not getting anywhere there. What do we put in the notes? Had nothing. Fair enough.
I don't think he knew what a contrapositive was.
Well, he gave an example of a contrapositive. But
Wait, what did he say? Maybe I didn't hear.
Well, because he was saying that if no God exists, then no proof exists, and the contrapositive is if proof exists, then a God exists. Which, yeah, I mean, sure, that's a contrapositive, but I have no idea how it's relevant, like, and how you would demonstrate that either of them is true for the other to be true, and yeah, whatever. Never got anything. All right, so if you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in a God. I can feel it. Brett's going to be the one. He's going to convert me. Hi, Brett. How old are you?
Hello, sir. I'm 26 with 4 kids.
Okay, that sounds horrible. What God do you believe in?
I believe in Jesus Christ.
Okay, and what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God?
The best argument and evidence to prove Jesus Christ was real is thousands of eyewitness testimonies.
That wasn't the question.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and say it again.
Yeah, what's the argument or evidence that God is real? Even if Jesus was a real person and existed, that doesn't mean that God is real. In the same way that Muhammad being a real person doesn't mean that Islam is true.
Okay, well, Jesus is part of God, and many
that's the claim.
people believe that Jesus is God.
Yeah, that's the claim, and I understand that people believe it. What's the argument or evidence that that claim is true?
That there is thousands of eyewitness testimonies.
Of what?
And there is that they've seen Jesus. They have stories of Jesus.
Okay.
He's actually in every single religion.
No, that's fine. That's fine that a lot of people, you know, say that Jesus lived, whatever. Do you think that Joseph Smith was a real person?
Who's that?
The guy who wrote or quote unquote translated the Book of Mormon?
Do I believe that he's real?
Yeah, was he a real person? Did he live?
I haven't done any research on that guy.
Okay, well, yes, he was a real person. Do you know do you think L. Ron Hubbard was a real person? The guy who created Scientology?
Just like the last guy, I haven't done any research, so I'm not sure.
Okay, L. Ron Hubbard is definitely a real person. We not only have lots of things that he wrote, we have literal videos of him, because he lived in the last, 4 or 5 decades. So, like, there are all these people who are real people that have religious claims, supernatural claims associated with them, but you don't believe those supernatural claims. We have much better evidence that L. Ron Hubbard was a real person than the evidence that Jesus was a real person, and yet you don't believe in the religious claims that L. Ron Hubbard made. So obviously, just knowing that a person actually existed isn't enough for us to believe in the religious claims associated with them. So what I'm asking for is some reason to believe that God exists. And as we've just come to understand together, a person being real doesn't mean the religious claims associated with them are true. So what's the reason to think that God actually exists?
You make a very good argument.
I know, I'm a fucking genius.
You are.
I'm just kidding.
Did you go to school?
No, I'm a fucking moron, man.
No, you've done this obviously quite some time. You're a very quick-witted man.
Been doing this for a few months, man.
Well, you did something in the past that led up to this point, because unless you're just naturally this damn good. But I would
glazing
say,
isn't going to get you anywhere. Is there any reason to believe in God?
Yeah, so allow me to elaborate. If you wouldn't mind, let me talk for just a little bit.
No, what we're going to do is either the next thing that you say is going to be evidence for God, or I'm just going to move on. Fair enough.
Was that the like? Was that sound effect the gears turning or what?
He got a message from God that he needed to leave.
It's like, bro, get out of here! I'm trying to conceal my existence. Just go.
What type of notification even is that? I've heard that like years ago. I don't even remember what that is.
Not a clue.
An outdated phone, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. A calendar, apparently. I was gonna assume maybe like Grinder or something.
I wasn't gonna say it, but
that would be more fun.
So... He got 4 kids, right? Or was that the?
Oh
yeah.
shit! I think that was the guy with 4 kids. Yeah.
I mean, who knows? He might be a player. So.
Could be.
He didn't say he was married. Yeah, 4
That's
different baby
true.
mamas.
That's true.
Yeah.
He had 4 kids with 5 different guys.
Yep.
Good times.
Jesus hit him up. He knows he's real because there's like all these witnesses. He's all 500 of them. He's seen him 500 different occasions.
My favorite, I don't know why this made me think of this, but now all I can think of is I saw a meme the other day that was like all the ICE dudes wear masks so that they can stay anonymous on their Grinder hookups. Oh, good times. Same with Republican politicians. They don't want that getting out either. Do you know that every time there's like a Republican convention, Grinder crashes in that area?
That's amazing.
It's so fucking funny.
I love that.
Oh, a bunch of closeted homosexuals. Man, just live your life. Go out, be gay. Just be honest about it. You'd have a way better life. Whatever.
The only reason it's funny, the only reason we can like make fun of you for that is because like you have an issue with it. Like,
Right.
You guys are the ones with the issue.
Yeah, you just come out and be gay and
Democracy.
live your life as a gay person. Nobody's gonna give a fuck. Well, the only people that I currently have requesting are people that I have already talked to this evening, and I'm not really looking to rehash the same debates again. I mean, unless you guys want to talk to Bryson. Bryson's good faith, but I don't know that he's going to have much. Because, like I said, I already talked to him tonight. Like,
I mean, I guess I'm fun to talk to him.
All right, well, let's see if you guys can give. Maybe he'll have better luck with you guys, because I am the asshole here. Hi, Bryson.
I just wanted to see if we could possibly have it probably won't work. You've probably done it before, but another believer in God.
Oh, I mean, I'm already, like, to be honest with you, man, like, I don't really like doing the whole panel thing.
No, I know 3 is a lot. Is there a possibility we could get rid of, because 3-on-1's a little more difficult, one of them and do another believer possibly? Just an idea.
Well, what I was going to suggest is that you can talk to Lobes and Monkey Boy, because I've already talked to you multiple times. So
I don't. Without another person, I haven't done enough to after that last. I mean, that's you borderline proved me wrong. So I have nothing beyond that without a help.
All right. Well, I mean, you can certainly tell your other person to come up. Like, they can request, and we can talk to them. But I don't know.
Yeah, I was just gonna wait on cue. Dude, there's like no good people on this. I swear. Like, I don't know anything about like Christianity. I mean, I'm developing. I'm growing in it, but I know like the smallest amount. And I've watched this live so many times, and there's really 0 good arguments whatsoever.
I don't know.
I mean, the guy did mention it is a faith based on nothing logical and evident. But I mean, there is so much more in the world that people know that no one on here is like.
Well,
cannot.
I'm going to say the reason we don't get good arguments on here is because good arguments don't exist. Lopes, Monkey Boy, do you think that there are any good arguments for God?
Yeah, I wouldn't say so.
There's too big of a world to say that. That's just.
Well, but Bryson, I mean, like if you're watching this live a whole lot, and you said that you haven't seen any good arguments, and I guess you don't know any. I guess you don't. Okay, if you don't know any like good arguments yourself, I'm just wondering why you're still a grower in this.
My personal experiences and just in general pushes me towards faith. I can't hash those on you. I'm not going to be able to give you my
Right,
like
your
you're not going to be able to
thesis.
ever see in my eyes, right? Yeah, sure, theses. But I mean, at the same time, you guys are going off of theses.
That's not
The only real evidence you have is that
He missed
the
it.
Earth has always been here. No, yeah, I did miss it. I'm sorry. Say it again.
It's whatever. Yeah, I mean, if you don't really have anything, I'm not really sure.
Yeah,
Like
fair enough.
I don't get this. Are you expecting some random person you never expected to come up and like help you? I mean, supposing they're the same religion and even same denomination, there's not theological conflict. They might not even buy into the same arguments, and or they might just step on your toes running the argument completely combobble. Like, I don't know.
In
I'm not
my
sure
opinion,
why
I
you would
just think
expect
it's
someone
more.
you're not familiar with to give it.
It just resonates better with me to have a reason and a purpose and a higher power than it does to just be a floating rock that is milliseconds
But
in the universe's
atheism
time that is
doesn't.
just going to disappear just like that.
No,
with
yeah, but
zero
yeah, but
internal
yeah,
reason.
atheism doesn't entail any of that, and neither does theism entail any of that.
So atheism doesn't. What purpose does atheism have for the Earth?
I don't know what that means.
We don't know what. So if my belief in God is to give reason to being here and being alive and being on the Earth, atheism's belief is that there is no purpose. Correct?
Yeah, no, you're not
Or
even
well, there is
listening.
no
I
God.
just said,
Atheism means there's no God. Sorry.
yeah, just listen, because I just told you this. Theism and atheism are both neutral with respect to teleology, or your purpose, or any of that. There's forms of theism that specifically admit of certain telos and teleology, certain purposes for you, so as there is with atheism. So I don't really understand
Where do those
what
purposes lie?
advantage.
Where are you getting those purposes from?
Hold on, but that question makes no sense. There's not like some atheistic answer. The options are
There
just
is
available.
no atheistic answer, so
Yeah,
you,
hold
so
on.
the atheists
Hold on, why
do
do you-
not
okay,
believe
you're-
in
you're-
that. You just said that.
Can you calm
They
down?
believe in a purpose,
Okay.
but then you said they
Dude.
don't.
Bryson.
I'm sorry.
Dude,
am I
listen.
confused? Am I lost?
Just stop interrupting me, please.
Okay.
So I don't know. What are you confused about? I'm saying that atheism doesn't entail any sense of purpose, but that
So they
doesn't
do
mean it's
not
not
believe
an.
in purpose.
It's not. No. What?
And they don't
Oh,
entail
hold on,
any
hold
purpose.
on,
What does
hold
that
on. You're
mean?
not listening. You're
I'm
not
sorry.
listening.
Maybe the words are
Just
too
stop.
big. I just
Just
don't
stop and listen. Just stop and listen. Just
I
stop
am.
and listen.
Okay.
No one. No. You're talking. You're not listening. You don't talk and listen. Right. So I said atheism, not atheists. Atheists can believe virtually anything, so long they can even believe in contradictory things. You could be a dialetheist atheist. So
you would be a
supposing that
retard.
you're logically, I don't know. Whoa.
In my opinion, if
Why are
you
you
just believe in
slurring?
anything from, oh sorry, my bad. My apologies.
Did
You
I-
would just be an idiot to believe in a mixture of all different things with zero gravitational pull towards any of them. That just doesn't make any sense to me.
What
I
are you
don't.
talking about?
Atheism.
All right, Bryson, look, man.
I'm
I mean, the
yeah,
times
I'm
that we've
so
talked
lost
before, I think we've had decent conversations.
He's
but
not
it's-
really receptive.
No,
I
it's
know,
pretty
I
obvious
mean,
that
it's
you
trying
don't
to-
actually have any interest in listening to anything that's being said to you.
I
Look,
just am
both
so
both
confused on this topic.
I know, but you're going to stay confused, Bryson, if every time someone tries to explain anything to you, you talk over them, you misinterpret what they say, you straw man their position, and you refuse to actually listen when they try to correct you. Monkey Boy is being very patient and trying to explain some things to you that are really good points that I don't typically, bring up in my conversations. So you actually can learn some stuff from him that you're not going to learn from the conversations that we're having. And instead of taking the opportunity to hear what he has to say, and even if you don't end up agreeing with him, you could have at least come away with a better understanding of the atheist perspective and what it means to be an atheist and what is entailed by atheism. But instead of taking the opportunity to learn, to grow like you said you want to, you just keep talking over him, you keep being rude to him, and then you got to, I didn't even hear what you said. You must have used an ableist slur or something. So I'm just going to end the conversation here, Bryson.
You're right. No,
I just am going to ask that, if you do come back another time, we're not doing any slurs. And I mean, you got to at least be able to listen. Like, I don't know, man. typically when I do
Benson.
these streams, it's just me. So when I've got multiple other people up here who have their own knowledge, their own life experience, like seems like in my opinion, a really good opportunity to learn different perspectives.
Yeah, sort of like to what he was trying to bring up, like the purpose thing. Monkey Boy has a really good point that theism, bare theism, and atheism don't entail anything about purpose. This is a separate school of philosophy. Like you could be an existentialist, for instance, and feel like you have purpose and be an atheist. Or you could be a Christian and feel like God just gave you purpose or something like that. It's not like on atheism, bare atheism and bare theism, it's not entailed.
Well, theism does have some unique sense of telos, which is just what your purpose is that which is in line with the intentions of that God. Of course, if there's no God, there's no intentions, but they're virtually, yeah, like the same atheist to theist. But this thing about, like, I said that, it's like if I said being a bachelor doesn't commit you to cows existing. And then you said, okay, so then if you're a bachelor, you don't think cows exist, is basically what that amounted to.
Right.
Yeah,
I said atheism's not a substantial thesis, neither is theism that tells you anything about purposes, though it's very popular amongst various theists. They think the purpose is that which is perhaps like in line with what God's intentions or nature. But you don't need it's not like an entailment. And then he goes from, okay, so if atheists aren't committed to anything about telos, then they just deny there's any purpose. Like, what?
Yeah, I think the purpose argument is, I don't know, it's a little frustrating for me because I think that, like, I don't know, there's something that I heard, I don't know if it was Ian or who said it, but an argument that I've heard that has stuck with me is the idea that, like, if the only kinds of things that have their purpose given or dictated to them are like objects, tools. You know what I mean? Like a hammer has its purpose given to it, but an agent should be the kind of being that determines its own purpose. Like, I want to be my own agent. I want to be my own, like in charge of my own life and what means something to me, and not have that dictated to me.
Even if there was a God that had an intention, like an intended purpose before he created us, that would just be the intended purpose. You can use a hammer for all sorts of things. It doesn't have to just be something that hammers nails. It's whatever it does.
Think about how many people have kids with the idea of my kid is going to be this or my kid's going to be that. Does that mean that you are then obligated to become the type of person that your parent thought that you were going to be when they conceived you?
That's a real good point, yeah.
I don't think that follows at all.
Yeah, I always give that example with Geppetto and Pinocchio, where Geppetto's like a psycho. And
Exactly.
Pinocchio doesn't have reason to... But also, I mean, there's senses of purpose that are just divorced of intentions, like natural teleology. But, I kind of think that's nonsense. But that aside there is at least somewhat serious taken view about, like, natural purpose or whatever.
I think that we can do something, and I don't know if this would really count as like purpose or telos, but the closest thing that I can think of is like, the ethical naturalist position, right? Because what you can say from that perspective is like, there is something that it means to be a quote unquote good human, right? Like just like from a evaluating like what a human is and what, there is a way to say like, this is what it means to be a good human. And you could then, I guess, say something like, as a human, my purpose is to try to be a good human or something like that. I don't know if that's exactly the way that I would want to say it, but that's the closest I can think of to any kind of like natural purpose or anything. And I don't think that really falls under purpose. I just think it means like, this is, at best, you can say this is what it means to be a good example of a human being.
Right, and that would be subject to one's own opinion based on like how they define a human, because like the definition can get blurry if you want to get really, really, if you want to really scrutinize it. With evolution, there's not like a cutoff where like now we're humans and we and we stop being this thing that we were before. I think that when it comes to natural purpose, though, like, I think that purpose is like a tricky word because we usually are just talking about function. Like the purpose of this part of my body is for this. It's like that's kind of tricky language. I think it's better to just say it's our function.
I think that there's some legitimacy there. Yeah, the purpose of my heart is to pump blood around my body. Well, I don't know. Is that really its purpose, or is that just its function, like you're saying?
Right.
But
yeah. Like it wasn't intended. Yeah.
But it is now 10 p.m. my time. We have run out the clock. I appreciate you both. I feel lucky that like not only do I have, you know, like people hanging out, watching, people supporting, that kind of stuff, but I was just thinking recently about, you know, like you know, making connections with other people who do this kind of stuff, and it just, I don't know, I feel lucky that I appreciate both of you, and you know, that you guys are willing to, like, you know, be associated with me in any regard. In any regard. So I appreciate you guys coming up and helping out, and offering a different perspective than what I can offer. I am gonna go ahead and end the live though, but I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody supporting. I appreciate everybody, you know, commenting, sharing, liking, all that stuff. We're gonna say that all 140,000 of those likes were earned honestly, and we're gonna pretend that there weren't a bunch of bots here earlier. But as I say at the end of all my streams, remember that tomorrow is not guaranteed. You don't know how many more opportunities you're going to have to let your family and friends